Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another wild, crazy adventure that we like to call Crime and Sports. We have a very famous person today. Very famous person, as we'll get into. You don't even know who it is yet.
No.
That's right. You're going to love it. You're going to go. I tell you, you're going to go. Oh, you're going to be so happy.
Be fun.
So yeah, this is going to be a good, fun episode. First, before we get started, very quickly, reviews, Apple Podcasts, they help a lot.
Right.
We don't know why, but they do. Please give us 5 stars if you like the show, because it helps the show. So what the hell? Help the show if you like the show. That is a big thing. Also, shutupandgivememurder.com right now. New merch up as we speak, and everything you could want to know about crime and sports and small town murder. And if you're not listening to Small Town Murder, I implore you. I don't know what you're doing. Honestly, the last few episodes, try now. Give them a shot, because it is absolutely bonkers, and you need to check it out. If you like this show, there's no reason why you shouldn't listen to that show. You will absolutely like it. The other way I could see, the reverse. You go, I don't want to know anything about sports. Okay, fine, but murder? Yeah. I don't get what the deal is. Check it out. It's not Dateline. It's us doing murder. Trust us, okay? If you like this, you'll like that. Also, Patreon episodes this week. We have good stuff. This week, we are going to do for the Crime and Sports bonus. We've had a lot of fun ones lately, too, with the athlete impersonators, the plane ride from hell in WWE. But this one, we are going to go deeper into what we did. We started a few years ago. We did the episode in 2017 on the I-5 killer, Randall Woodfield, who is a named serial killer who was an awful, horrible person who also happened to be drafted by the Green Bay Packers. So lucky us, I guess. What's unlucky for society was at least a little bit lucky for us after the fact. But at the time, we did shorter episodes, and he killed so much that it was just full of murder, the episode. So I found a ton of good backstory on him.
Great.
And how he got started, and just kind of the tons of people's recollections of him in college and all this stuff. And we're going to kind of fill in the front end of a serial killing, and then we'll quickly go over the murders quickly. But that'll be the bonus. It's going to be awesome. Trust me. This is some creepy good stuff here. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Get on that right now. Also, Jimmy will mispronounce your name.
Oh, you bet.
At the end of the show, because you're a producer at that point. God damn it. You're a helpful, awesome member of the team, and thank you. And if you just want to have good karma and also have Jimmie mispronounce your name at the end of the show, that's possible as well. You can go to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can do that there, and thank you so much for everything you guys do. Honestly, everybody out there, more appreciated than we could even tell you. Seriously. That said, let's get right to this.
Great.
Let's get into it, because there's a lot. He's been around a while. To this day, there's not a week that goes by where you're not like, oh, that guy said that. It's one of those things. It's Charles Barkley.
Oh, tremendous.
It's Charles Barkley, everybody. So, I mean, he never shuts the fuck up.
No,
He's always talking, which is fine. You can talk all you want.
He's got a lot of opinions.
And he's done a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
For a guy this is the thing that's funny for me, is for a guy who's done as much dumb shit as he's done, he has a lot of opinions about other people's conduct, which is hilarious to me.
You have any idea how fucking famous Charles Barkley is and was?
Oh, yeah.
The man was, he went to dinners with Madonna.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big deal.
He's a international superstar. I mean, especially after 2 Dream Teams and Space Jam and everything else.
When Larry Bird retired, there was Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley.
That was
it.
Those were the two faces. They were 1 and 2, Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan. That's why the 92-93 finals were so amazing, because that was them. That was the magic bird of the 2000s type of thing, and they only got to do it once, though, unfortunately.
90s, early 90s.
Early 90s, 80s.
I'm
you know
what
I'm saying. So yeah, Charles Barkley is an interesting fella, and he has been around a long time. But the things, like I said, he alternates between being like kind of like I don't want to use the word progressive, but sort of progressive, and then at the other side he'll turn into like he'll start doing pull up your pants in the next breath.
Yeah.
Next breath he'll tell someone to pull up their pants.
And if you don't pull them up, I'll make you drop them, and I'll give you a whooping in public. He'll literally grab a stick and spank you.
Well, he will, and we'll talk about that because he's done worse than that. And this is going to be a ball because his unapologeticness is hilarious, at least for an episode
even
like
when
this.
he's wrong.
But that's the thing. Love him or hate him, here it is. And full disclosure, I will say this. As a child growing up, Charles Barkley was my favorite basketball player.
He meant everything to me.
Head and shoulders above anybody. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
To me, Jordan was, as a player, a better all-around player. I don't think there's much debate there, but not in all aspects, obviously. I mean, Charles will out-rebound the shit out of him and score as much as he wants when he wants to. But
certainly out-comment him.
Definitely. Jordan's a different type of player. But to me, Jordan was the squeaky clean.
Yeah. He was the
Mike,
right,
with a bunch of little kids following him and all that shit. Like, we were teenagers when that was going on.
He's a pop icon.
Yeah, we were teenagers when that was going on. That wasn't like I'm not a little kid chasing after Michael Jordan. Like, fuck him. You know what I mean? Like,
everybody wants to be like
no. Barkley's punching people and then being like, yeah, I punched him. Fuck you. And I'm like, that's better. I like that.
Which is shot, and they couldn't get. I imagine they couldn't get Barkley because he was already deep seated into Phoenix, and they ended up getting Rodman, which is essentially as close as they could get to Barkley.
Yeah, it's Barkley that doesn't want to score.
There you go.
That's
Barkley without a shot.
Because you couldn't have another guy that wants the ball on that team.
Right.
It wouldn't have worked out. So you had to have Rodman was the perfect guy because he never wanted the ball, which was like, oh, great. We don't even have to pass it to him.
Right.
We don't have to even pretend he's on the team on offense.
And then he'll go get it on defense and give it right back to you.
That's perfect. He's the perfect guy for that. But Charles Barkley here. So, yeah, if I always give full disclosure, if I either was a huge fan of someone or hate someone, any bias that you might hear is going to come from, sorry.
Yeah.
Growing up, he was my favorite. I had his shoes. He was my guy. So Charles Wade Barkley.
Wade.
Did
I not
Didn't
know
expect
that?
one,
No,
did you?
I don't
Neither
think I did.
I didn't know that at all. I was like, Wade.
That's awful.
Interesting. Born
Charles Wade.
Wade.
He sounds like a railroad worker.
Like Boggs. Yeah, strange. He's born February 20th, 1963. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why he sounds like he's getting older, because he's getting older.
Right.
He's from Leeds, Alabama.
Yes.
Is where he is from. Now, growing up, life was not easy for Charles.
No.
His mother's name, by the way, and this isn't what makes his life not easy, but his mother's name is Charcy.
Oh.
Charcy.
Okay.
Charcey. Charcy.
Oh, fascinating.
Okay. So Charcy's tough.
Yeah.
Charcy is a strong person here. Now, his father, Chuck's father here, and we'll do a lot of rebound, a lot of nicknames for Charles Barkley, by the way. The round mound of rebound. There's 100.
Yeah.
There's so fucking many.
They ran deep.
When
you have a personality, though,
most of them have to do with him being fat. Fat and good at basketball. Because they had to encompass both.
Yeah,
he wasn't just fat.
It doesn't make sense that he's as good as he is.
It makes, when you watch some of the things he does athletically, you're like, well, what the fuck?
Scientifically, that shouldn't happen.
No. That's the thing. You look at Charles and he looks like a certain type of player, but dude was athletic as shit. He ran the court like a deer. He'd fucking dunk over people. He was nasty, man. Very nasty. So his dad ran out pretty early, like, before he was a toddler, even as an infant. His dad took off and moved to California.
Oh.
So, I don't blame him moving to California, but take the wife and kid with you, why don't you? He just took off, as a matter of fact. But Charcy, she stood by here and was a single mom, everything like that. She was a house cleaner and would, clean houses during the day and then would have her kids at night. And her mother worked in a meat packing factory and was also in a beauty salon. They all kind of were in the same household.
Charcy's mom?
Pitching in on the bills, yeah.
Really?
Charcy's mom was, a meat packing beautician.
Oh, boy.
Which is, why does my hair smell like pork chops now?
Wash your hands next
What
time.
happened? Yeah. That's what it was, though. They didn't have a lot of money at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a tough It's tough going.
That lets you know exactly how much money hairdressers make when she has to have a second job at a meat packing company.
That was her second job, was at the beauty salon.
Yeah.
She made most of her money from the meat packing, and then she'd do a few things.
Shocking.
A little bit here and there to make a couple extra bucks.
It's not easy.
It's tough out there. They said that government cheese was pretty rampant here. A lot of bologna and cheese sandwiches for dinner.
Got so big?
Was the deal with Chuckster there? Well, maybe once he got some food in him, he just wanted to. And we'll talk about it. But once they have a couple of bucks, at least to be a little more comfortable, he eats like a horse. It's all he's been wanting to do is eat.
Yeah.
So it feels like this seems to be a lot of things like. If a kid doesn't eat a lot and then all of a sudden you really unload on him, like right when he's like going through puberty, like they hit a growth spurt, like you have to fuel at the right times.
Yeah.
Maybe we're feeding our kids too early.
Too much too early.
Early. Maybe we hold back till a certain, I don't know how it works scientifically. I'm far from a
As soon as you find the formula, let me know, because I'd like to work that out with my kid and get him into sports too.
There you go.
Make some money at this.
Let's do it. So apparently Charcy ended up meeting a man, and that things worked out well. A man named Clee Glenn. Okay. And they ended up getting married.
Yeah.
And so there was more of a family structure, which things got a lot better for Charles and everything like that. Charcy and Clee would have two more sons.
Oh, boy.
Named Daryl and John. And so, there was that. John Glenn, by the way, is his brother's name.
Hilarious.
Which is pretty fucking funny.
How many kids are in this house?
3.
Okay.
So it's Charles and
these
his
two guys.
and the two boys and mom and dad, or mom and stepdad, and I don't know if grandma still lives there or not, but who knows? So I would assume so. She probably does. But they had a 1-bedroom apartment for a long time. That was the problem. So you're cramming all these people in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Which is not comfortable.
And a kid the size of Charles.
He's a thick kid.
Yeah.
Charles is always a thick kid. And the problem here, things are going well, though. The family starts to get a little bit better until in the mid-1970s, Clee, his stepdad, is killed in a car accident.
Fuck.
So Charles, that sucks, man. Your dad runs off.
Win for losing.
Yeah, and this not to get too psychological about it, but this kind of explains a lot. This will embitter a young child.
0-2 on dads? Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Dad left. Now there's this guy. Oh, he's great. Yeah. I depend on this. And then you're 10, 11 years old and he's dead too.
Right.
You kind of get a thing. Well, fuck you. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. People die anyway. Fuck it.
Also, fathers are temporary.
And a lot of things. And it just gives you just a certain veneer you have to put over yourself now, because you're not going to let yourself be hurt again. You know what I mean? Right. Whether it's by life or death or whatever the fuck it is. So
this also plays into later on in life. That's a fascination, because you'd think he would admire women more than he does.
That's a thing, especially with his mom.
Right. Being as strong as she is, and his grandma too.
That's the thing, There's strong women around him. He was 11 years old at the time. So, he's 11, and there's 2 little brothers too that are younger than him. So, Chuck is kind of he's got to sort of be the man of the house here.
Tough stuff.
Yeah, and apparently, though, Charcy never breaks down. Everybody says Charcy's strong as shit. The mother, her mom lives there. She's got 3 sons in the house, and she just, pushes through, works her ass off, and tries to put her kids through school. Charles, as kind of just something to take his attention, something for his energy, finds basketball.
Yeah.
And also the dinner table as well, because he starts putting on a few pounds. But he starts getting into basketball now around this time, after the stepdad dies and everything like that. And, Charles, he goes to Leeds High School as a junior. This is another thing that we've seen repeatedly. As a junior, he's 5'10". Really? 5'10". Wow. He's 5'10" and weighed 220. That's a big kid. So he's just a fat kid. Yeah. That's it. He's just a fat kid playing basketball. You wouldn't look at him and go, well, he's going to be an NBA star. You'd go, look at that little fat guy. That's 2 inches and 40 pounds on me. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a lot. But 5'10" is not a big guy. No. And we saw it with Scottie Pippen. We saw it with Dennis Rodman, where they were not anything physically at all. And then just late growth spurt hit, and they were able to work with that. He doesn't make the varsity team. He's named as a reserve on the team. So he doesn't even... As a junior. He's only 5'10", 220. You're not exactly... What position are you playing? Yeah. You're not going to... Power forward? No. People just go right over you and take it, or you're not going to be fast enough to be a guard, I wouldn't think, at 5'10", 220. Small forward at best? then you better have a hell of a shot from the outside or something too, and be able to get it over the people who are much taller than you that will be guarding you, because that's
or just have a thirst, hunger. What am I trying to find?
Hunger
or thirst, Whisman, for rebounds.
But people just take them right over you because you're so tiny. You can't even, when he's in the NBA, he's shorter than everybody, as we'll talk about, that's rebounding, but he's still closer. If you're 5'10" and 220, that's going to be very difficult. So during the summer, though, of his between junior and senior year, he grew to 6'4".
That was fast.
And that's growth spurts. We saw that with everybody.
That's gotta hurt.
I grew 8 inches in a summer.
Really?
Fuck yeah. Between 13 and 14, I grew 8 inches.
Ouch.
In a summer.
Sweet Jesus.
Not pleasant. Not a pleasant experience. Yeah, that hurt, man. Let me tell you something. Every party, it hurts. Not good. I'm still recovering from that.
What would hurt worse, doing that or quote unquote having your shins sectioned to be shorter?
To be shorter. If you don't know what we're talking about, the Patreon bonus episode last week had the craziest attempt at a scam in the history
it's a
of
lie.
crime and sports. But the balls it the balls it took to tell it.
Right.
That's you have to hear that episode just to hear the balls in these scams. It's so fucking amazing, that episode.
I don't know which would hurt worse, doing that or that.
I don't know, but yeah, it's 6.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I went from like 5'8" to 6'4", and he went from 5'10" to 6'4". So I get it, the same thing.
And I dreamed of it. I'm so glad
I'm going to wake up and be taller. I swear, I know it. So this is, and by the way, in his career, Barkley is always listed at 6'6".
Yeah.
He is not 6'6".
6'4"?
He is 6'4".
Yeah.
I know this because I've met Charles Barkley, and we are the exact same height. I'm talking we are fucking eye to eye, exactly the same height.
They stretch him to make you feel like they're doing something you can't do. Right? They've got to.
No, they list him as taller because it's just people don't think he's short. Then 6'6" sounds better than 6'4" as a power forward, and just in school they always do that. They'll list people taller just so the other team doesn't key in on him being short.
Okay,
that's basically what you do.
Fascinating.
It's work. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
They do it in football too.
But also him being that size made Mark West look so much bigger at 6'10".
That's what I mean. Yeah. So I mean, he says he's 6'6", and if he was 6'6", what he accomplishes rebounding wise would be incredible at 6'6". At 6'4", it's not incredible. It's otherworldly. It's
mind-blowing.
Alien.
Yeah.
It's not. We'll find out. He's the only guy ever to do it. So as we'll find out, his rebounding at his size, no one else does it like that in the history of the NBA.
It's that big fat ass, man.
It's a big fat ass and a 45-inch vertical jump.
That'll help.
He comes in, he'll bump you, and then he could jump over you too. And he wants it. He's another guy that he wants it more than you. It's like a Rodman thing. So anyway, he ends up making the varsity squad as a senior because he comes back 6'4". They're like, that's better.
We'll take him.
We'll take him now. He can at least clear people out of the paint with that big fat ass is. So he averages 19.1 points and 17.9 rebounds a game.
Points and rebounds
in high school.
Nearly 20.
Yeah.
To both of them.
Almost 20 and 20.
That's crazy.
Dominating and leads his team to a 26-3 record. And they go to the state semifinals. So not bad.
Pretty good.
But the problem is college scouts notice you before your senior year.
It's a bit late.
And then they look at you through your senior year. So they might have just heard of him, but he didn't really get on anybody's radar enough.
Yeah.
Those people were already being recruited until the state high school semifinals game they lost, actually. He scored 26 points against, I guess, the University of Alabama's biggest recruit. He's like the number one recruit in the state, a guy named Bobby Lee Hurt, and Chuck dominated him. And so they were like, Auburn University went, well, shit, we play Alabama a lot, and we
sure use that guy.
We like to beat him, and if that guy's going to be their main guy, our guy could dominate him. We might be able to beat him.
Right.
So they did. They said, shit, let's take a look at this. Head coach Sonny Smith was at the game, and he said that he saw, this is amazing, he saw, quote, a fat guy who can play like the wind.
God, that hurts.
I mean,
is it good or is it bad? That hurts so bad.
I don't even know.
Fat guy.
I mean, he knows he's fat.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But he can play like the wind. I guess that's the important part.
Yeah.
So Barkley got recruited. He majors in business management while he goes to Auburn. And, he's listed at 6'6", 252. He's less than one of those and more than the other.
That's a lot.
I'll let you guess which one he is less than and which one he is more than.
He's more than 252?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Really?
250. Oh, yeah. He's well over 252.
That is a lot, right?
That's a lot.
I mean, Oliver Miller was playing at like 310.
But Oliver Miller had a different... Chuck is built different.
Yeah.
Chuck is thick.
Yeah.
He's all around thick.
Everywhere.
Like, even as he gets older, his head is fatter. Like, he gets fat in multiple places. Like, his legs are big. His shins are big. He's got big fucking ankles.
It's like his body knows how to proportion the Taco Bell throughout his body.
It's the way it is. His ass is fucking big. And, and it's solid, too. He's a big,
and it's
solid,
round. It's not just like a big fat ass. You know what I mean? He's got a big bubble ass that he wields it as a weapon.
He does. Some people, we'll see it with a lot of sports. Some people who are built heavier, where you look at them in street clothes and go, that guy's not that, not built very well or not that athletic, and they're fucking athletes. It's just a weird thing. Offensive linemen like that. You see a guy's 300 pounds, and he can run a cone drill, and you're like, how the fuck does he do that? It's amazing. It's incredible. They can dance and shit. So weird. So he goes to college. He goes to Auburn, and weight is a problem always. Absolutely. Every year they kind of break his balls about weight, but he plays so well. What are they going to say? He leads the SEC in rebounding every year he's there. So like, that's his job, and he does it. So they don't know what else to do. Yeah, and the crowd fucking loves him. He's a really exciting player. Now, if you're younger and you just see him as an announcer, you're like, oh, this old man.
Right.
As a fucking player, though, he was a force. He would disrupt things. He was just one of those guys. And he was a good shot blocker in college, too. Really? He would, from behind, he'd chase people down. He's one of those guys and sneak behind you. So he wasn't tall enough to do it straight face to face.
Right.
But he could jump and get the right angle on you.
That's awesome.
And do it.
That's my favorite block.
That's the best block.
It's so cool.
It's so neat. Here it is. Oh, shit. Pinned it to the glass. He would dunk and block shots. And, I mean, people, the fact that he was shorter and fat, people loved it. It was like, that fat guy just dunked on everybody. So he, would, a lot of times he would take it, get a defensive rebound, and just take it all the way down the court and go dunk on somebody.
Yeah.
So that was like, fuck, that's exciting.
Yeah.
People enjoyed it, and they called him the round mound of rebound. That's where he earned it. And also in college, the Crisco Kid was another nickname for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's terrible.
That's a bad one.
That's so mean.
That's rough. That's fucking rough, man.
Oh my God.
So he
it's
did
a pun of a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then that.
And that. But he's averaging, senior year, he averages 15.1 points, 9.5 rebounds a game. Mm-hmm. So pretty goddamn good. Now, later on, he will admit that he got money in college, as he fucking should have.
Sure.
As everybody who plays major college athletics should. I wouldn't feel bad about that at all.
Right. Especially,
at all.
And you're Charles Barkley, and probably the most, sought after guy from Auburn ever.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
That's what I mean. They wanted him, and they ended up paying him because they had to, or else he'd leave. So this was when the whole Reggie Bush scandal came out. Okay. Reggie Bush, his mom got a house or something. She had to give back his Heisman.
Right.
It's like, unless USC paid people not to tackle him,
right?
I don't give a fuck where his mom lives, or if somebody brought a turkey sandwich to his grandma and a son. I don't care. I don't care what they paid him. He didn't get tackled and got in the end zone. Therefore, Heisman Trophy. The rest of that shit's irrelevant, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If they gave him like some sort of, I don't know.
I'm sure ASU and UCLA, all those people would love for him not to have scored as much as he scored.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, he won that Heisman. Everyone he played against knows he won it, so it's weird. So Chuck says, quote, if a guy wants to borrow money from an agent because he's poor, what is wrong with that? Nobody can tell me what is wrong with that. I got money from agents when I was in college, and I went in the 80s. Most of the players I know borrowed money from agents. The colleges don't give us anything. If they give us a pair of sneakers, they get in trouble. Why can't an agent lend some money, and I'll pay him back when I graduate?
Great point. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Why not? And that's not even the college paying.
Yeah.
That's not even the college. It's literally a private business transaction between him and somebody else. There's nothing to fucking do with college. And
the only problem that I have with that is
the agents. I have a problem because
people getting taken advantage of
and
charge interest of some ungodly rate.
Well, not only that, they get their hooks in these kids, and some of the kids are a little more innocent, and they don't know that they're not locked into this.
I helped you when you didn't
person.
have shit.
Yeah. But I mean, otherwise, it's a What's different than that, or if there's a goddamn tent set up at a college pitching the Discover card to kids? What's the fucking difference?
No difference.
There is none.
No.
You're totally like, you can go get 8 credit cards. That's no problem.
That's horrible.
But a fucking agent wants to, I don't know. It's the same shit to me.
Either way, they have the opportunity to ruin their life.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Difference?
That's whatever. For a guy like Charles Barkley, though, he knows he's going to make the NBA, rebounding like he rebounds. So he ends up becoming, later on, he'll become a member of Auburn's all-century team and still holds the record for career field goal percentage at Auburn with 62.6.
Yeah.
So not too shabby.
Good players came from Auburn, though, in basketball, right? I feel like there's been like 6 or 10.
I can't think of a lot that came out of
Charles
Auburn.
is definitely the best.
That's what I mean. He also was the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year in 1984.
Wow.
And a second-team All-American selection as well. And he's later named SEC Player of the Decade for the 1980s.
Wow.
By the Birmingham Post-Herald. This is pretty fucking funny, talking about getting paid to go to college, or it's easier for the athletes. He was on, I think it was TNT, and Ernie Johnson said, Auburn is a pretty good school. To graduate from there, I suppose you really need to work hard and put forth maximum effort. Barkley said 20 points and 10 rebounds will get you through also. So that's why you got to like Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't do shit except for on the court.
He'll scam shit and then be like, I scammed the fuck out of that shit. And you can decide whether you like it or not. Like, that's kind of funny to me. I don't know.
20 points and 10 rebounds will do
it too. That'll do it too. So 1984 Olympics. Now, this is pre-Dream Team. Dream Team wasn't until 92.
What was in 84? Because 88 was Seoul.
Seoul, 84 is L.A.
L.A., got it, yeah.
So Barkley is invited to try out for the team by Bobby Knight, who was the coach of the team. Now, picture Bobby Knight and Charles Barkley.
Oh, my.
That does not seem like a good mix right there.
We're going to also get a boxing match at this basketball
that's what I mean.
game.
Yeah, one of them's throwing a chair at the other one. I'm sorry, it's happening. It's like Reggie Jackson and Billy Martin in the same dugout. That didn't work.
We're going to have WWF wrestling in the Olympics.
There will be suplexes. It's like, that's a new one. Does that count for anything? So he just suplexed his fucking coach. I don't think that's right. So he made it all the way to the final cuts, but then he's not selected for the team. Offensively, he outplayed the shit out of a lot of the front court guys, but Bobby Knight said that he was cut because of poor defense.
Oh.
Yeah. Chuck Person said Charles Barkley was standing out more than anyone. And Wayman Tisdale said the one that's, this is before the cuts, the one that sticks out is Charles Barkley. The way he's able to move around 284 pounds like a guard is amazing.
Yeah.
284, by the way.
Sure.
Listed at 252.
Yeah.
That's the actual weight.
Wow.
That's a lot. Then who is this? Another ball player said, I went to guard him on the first day. He grabbed my face, pushed me away, and dunked with one hand. He didn't want me to interrupt him.
That's what the NBA used to be, goddammit.
That's what I love. Yeah, fuck out of my face.
I miss that.
I love that. So Jim Boeheim, the Syracuse coach, said, quote, if they cut Barkley, they better do it by mail. He's going to be pissed. So he did cut Barkley, and Barkley ended up saying he actually took it well, and he said that later on, yeah, my defense was awful. That's what he said. Okay. And he said that it's not a big deal, and they can win without me, no big deal. Bobby Knight said the word interesting is a good word to apply to Barkley. He's an extremely talented player. He's got to become a much better defensive player. He has to work at sharpening what he does. If he can, he has an excellent chance. If he can't, he's not going to make the team. Barkley said that Bobby Knight talked to him about trying to slim down. Listen to this.
Bobby Knight. Fat fuck
I need you to slim down.
All right, Bob.
Sure, Bob. I need you to have less white hair. Can you do that? Can you have
Bob, I need your workout not to be chair tossing.
How's that sound? He said, can you slim down from 284, not to 250, to 215?
Oh, my.
And Barkley was like, no.
I need you to lose 70 pounds?
His frame, he wouldn't look right.
No.
Barkley said, quote, I'd be in bad shape if I did that. And Bobby Knight asked him, are you fat or are you just built funny?
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious question to ask another human being about their body.
That's like trying to not ask a woman if she's pregnant.
Walk up to a woman at the store and you go, are you fat or just built funny? And see what happens to you. She will stab you in the throat. And everyone will go, you deserve that. That was a weird question to ask. So are you fat or just built funny? Barkley took it. He didn't care. He said, quote, hard to say. If I peeled off the extra weight, I'd probably look like Hercules.
Wow.
So, I mean, which I think is probably true with him.
Probably.
I think he's got like a real. Yeah.
Might have a great toned ass and abs under there.
That's the thing. Bobby Knight said he backed off of it when he saw him play. Mm-hmm. Then he said, quote, Barkley at 215 would be like asking Raquel Welch to undergo plastic surgery.
Oh.
So he's trying to say
Bobby's got himself a crush.
He's beautiful how he is. Beautiful how he is. But yeah, he was real nasty. There was a certain play here they talk about where Jordan, who was the college player of the year, Michael Jordan obviously, tried to bounce a pass in front of Barkley under the basket, and Barkley stole it and dribbled down court. And then he was kind of he passed it. He dribbled down court, passed to another guy who missed the layup, and then he got the rebound from Jordan and slammed it. So they were like, oh shit, look at that. And then Barkley said, quote, to the press, if you all had a vote, I'd be on the team. So, but he's not on the team. The team is Steve Alford, Patrick Ewing, Vern Fleming, Michael Jordan, Joe Klein.
Fleming?
Yeah.
Vern Fleming.
Yeah.
The guy from the Patreon episode, Vern Fleming. Right?
From his Patreon episode?
Yeah, that was somebody pretended to be him, but that's a different Vern Fleming.
Different one, different one.
He
different
played
one.
football, right?
Yeah, that was a different Fleming. Okay. Michael Jordan, Joe Klein, which is weird.
What?
Yeah, Joe Klein. It's good in college.
Wow.
John Konkak, there's another. Let's see how many big, giant, stiff white centers we can stick on this fucking team. Oh, Sam Perkins. I love Sam Perkins. Stone-looking motherfucker. Alvin Robertson. There's one of our guys there. Ooh, boy, that was a great episode
Monster.
that guy made. Wayman Tisdale, who was great for
Rest
a long time. Yeah. Jeff Turner and Leon Wood. That was the team. Team went 8-0 and won the gold. So
that team won?
Yeah, they got Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullins, Sam Perkins. I was
just thinking about all the boring-ass white guys.
Yeah. In front of them is an NBA All-Star team, though, in like 2 years. Like a whole team. It's pretty impressive. I mean, Ewing, Jordan, Mullen, Perkins, Tisdale. That's a squad.
That's a good one.
I'll run with that squad.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
So 84 draft here. By the way, this draft, his draft pick is affected by a 1978 trade.
Really?
The San Diego Clippers in 1978, October 1978, traded a future first-round pick to the 76ers for World Be Free.
No.
Yeah, traded a first-round pick for World Be Free. This is that first-round pick, comes to fruition in 1984, 6 years later.
Wow.
So,
was he number one?
Who?
Jordan.
No, actually.
Okay.
Number one, here it is. We've talked about it briefly, but number one is Akeem Olajuwon this year.
Yeah.
He's Akeem Olajuwon.
Right.
Number two, Sam Bowie, that's not a good decision by Portland because number three is Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. So you probably should have grabbed him up, I would say. Sam Perkins, number four. Number five overall to the Philadelphia 76ers, Charles Barkley.
Wow.
So number five, they wanted rebounding back then. And that's the
That's
way
a
it
great
was.
top five. I mean, apart from Sam Bowie.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, if you put Bowie and Olajuwon together, that's a squad up front, man. You're not getting near that.
So
shit.
the Trailblazers picked Bowie because they already had Drexler, correct?
I would think so, yeah, because he was from Houston the year before. And then we got Alvin Robertson as number 7, Otis Thorpe, who's around forever, number 9. Who else here? Kevin Willis is in this draft.
He was drafted number 9?
Who?
Otis Thorpe?
Otis Thorpe was,
I think he wore number 9 also.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought he wore 41. No, that was the other guy.
I swore he wore number 9.
Now I'm just all thinking about 90s Rockets, which we'll get into. Now, Charles Barkley's NBA career is best said, it has to be broken into 4-year increments.
Yeah.
It's weird. He has 4 distinct career periods. Okay. And we'll start with period number 1. This is the good Sixers period. Yeah. He got to the 76ers in 84, and they were a good team in the early 80s. Right. Like, they were really smoking on this team. Listen to the roster here. You got Charles Barkley, Maurice Cheeks, who's a badass. Dr. J is on this fucking team.
Really?
Julius, how weird is it that Charles Barkley and Dr. J played on the same team?
That's fascinating.
Right? Isn't that weird? They had a crossover.
Wow.
When you think about those two, you think of Charles Barkley.
A certain era.
You think of him like 1993, like elbowing Barney the Dinosaur on SNL and saying, I'm not a role model, and being in Space Jam. And then Dr. J, you picture in that 70s looking
giant
picture
afros,
with a huge afro soaring, dunking at the basket. You don't ever picture those two together.
No.
They played on the same team.
For 1 year?
I think it was 2 years.
What?
It ends up. And Moses Malone is on this team, too.
How did
Moses
they not win?
Malone, Dr. J, and Charles Barkley on the Sadal Threets on this team.
He's great, too.
There's a lot of good players on this team, but we'll talk about it. They were a good team, 58-24, and they first round, they beat the Bullets 3-1, the series was. Then they swept the Milwaukee Bucks 4-0. Then they ran into the Boston Celtics, who that's the reason why. Yeah, the Celtics became a juggernaut there. They were the East in the 80s, so that's how that happened, and they lost in a 5-game series to Boston.
Fascinating.
But yeah, if Barkley wasn't a rookie, like all those guys in their peak, because Moses Malone was at the end of his career too.
Yeah.
If you had Dr. J, Moses, and Charles Barkley, and they're all in their primes, this was like, two guys well past their prime and one guy not there yet. So it wasn't quite the same, but still they did pretty well. Chuckster that year plays in all 82 games. He does pretty well, 8.6 rebounds a game. He doesn't play it that much. That's why he's kind of a replacement here. 28.6 minutes a game, but that's not, he's a 40-minute guy later on, which again, fat and sweaty, but he's out there the whole fucking game somehow and looking, svelte. 14 points a game as well. Makes $307,000.
That's pretty good.
Not bad, especially for the 84. 85, 86, they're 54-28 again. They beat the Bullets in the first round and then lose to the Bucks in a 7-game series.
Oh, no.
In the second round there. He makes $437,500. But he averages 20 points that year, 20 points a game and 12.8 rebounds.
There you go.
So now
20 and 10 will do it too.
20 and 13 will get you a lot. That's something, man. That's pretty goddamn good. 86, 87, 45 and 37 is the team. They go to the playoffs still, but lose in the first round to the Bucks. So the downhill slide of the Sixers here. He sets records this year though in games. Most offensive rebounds in a half. He has 13 offensive rebounds and a half, which is a shitload. Yeah. It's a record versus the Knicks on March 4th, and most offensive rebounds in a quarter as well that game
8.
with 11.
What?
Which is insane. That's all dominating the offensive boards.
They don't miss that frequently.
That's
in the
what
NBA,
I mean.
so
you got every missed shot basically in the whole half. You took yourself. Offensive.
Everyone that your team missed, unbelievable.
That's wild. Later on, or this year too, he will be starting this year the smallest player ever to lead the league in rebounds at 6'6".
Unbelievable. Smallest
player. He's not 6'6". That's the other thing. He's nowhere near 6'6". So yeah, this year 23 points, 14.6 rebounds a game. That's beastly. The next year, he'll do even better. Next year, he's going to have 28.3 points and 11.9 rebounds a game.
Per game, James.
Per game.
So if he only got 7, don't worry. In another game, he's going to get 18.
That's what I mean. He's
unreal.
Crushing it. And he's an all-star there in 86, 87 for the first time. That'll be for the whole center of his career.
Great.
The whole center cut, he'll be, you picture like tuna for sushi. You can cut off the sides, and that whole center cut's all-star, and the sides are just...
That's just whatever.
It's just fat, really, especially with the Chuckster.
I'll give that to the cat.
Yeah, exactly. So 87-88, they're 36-46 now, the team. So they don't make the playoffs. And not going terrific for the team, but for Charles, 28.3 and 11.9 rebounds, pretty fucking good.
He's so good.
He's an all-star again, $822,500 he makes that year. So that's the good Sixers period. Chuckster's just becoming a star.
Yeah.
People around the league are going, who's this fat guy who can dunk like that? That's amazing. And then here comes the 88-92 period. This is the next 4-year period of his career.
With the Sixers.
This is the shit Sixers period. This is Chuck's unhappy. The Sixers suck.
Yeah.
He wants out for 4 fucking years.
But he has to perform if he wants to make money and go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Oh, what
a sign and trade.
Shit life to live. Fucking hate this place, hate this team, and I have to do well?
I have to do well. This team sucks. Where's Dr. J?
Right.
So August 18th, 1988, Charles Barkley here. This is pretty fucking funny. He was coming from a kids program, actually, which is pretty goddamn funny. He was, where was it? He was in Atlantic City at a 76ers youth basketball clinic. And while he was driving away, his 1988 Porsche was pulled over for speeding. And unfortunately for him, the trooper here, Trooper D. Simon, who made the stop, spotted a fully loaded 13-shot Heckler and Koch.
Yeah, it's an H&K.
There you go.
Yep.
9mm handgun on the passenger seat.
I got the same one.
Well, he sat
great gun.
right on the passenger seat, loaded to the fucking max.
The difference is I live in Arizona. You live in Jersey. Philly.
This is,
You can't do that there.
No, and you can't just have a loaded handgun on the seat like that. And he had no permit to carry it is the other thing,
no.
so it's not like it's legal or anything. He's just fucking carrying it.
Running around with an H&K.
That's all. Fully loaded, so who knows?
Yeah.
It wasn't registered anywhere, just a gun.
God damn it.
So, yeah, there was that. So he gets arrested for that, obviously. That's his first in his long line here. It's just a weapons possession charge, and he may be eligible for a pretrial program that would result in a dismissal of the charges, the prosecutor said here.
How dangerous are these kids he went to go visit?
I mean, AC in the 80s was pretty grimy.
Needs a knife.
And he's driving a Porsche.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he's like, I ain't getting my shit taken. I don't know.
Going to a kids clinic?
But kids clinics are usually in shitty neighborhoods.
That's a good
and
point.
Chuckster knows a shit neighborhood when he sees one, and he's like, well, I mean, I'll go there and help the kids. They ain't robbing me afterwards. I think that's kind of his...
Badass 13-year-old?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his deal is, but you got a registered gun or do something. I don't know, hire a guy to come with you. Tell the team, I'll go with there if you send me to the fucking... You send me to the hood, you got to send a couple people with me so I don't get carjacked.
Right.
So I don't have to carry around a loaded gun. So otherwise, that's what I got to do.
Just need a fall guy.
That's it. The 76ers took no action against him because silver as can be.
And they sent him.
Yeah, they sent him. The NBA is investigating, and Chuck says, quote, I now realize it was wrong, but at the time I was unaware that carrying a gun in a car in New Jersey was an offense. I don't know why the media should make a big deal out of it. It's not an Al Capone kind of thing.
Charles.
So he's just acting like, I didn't even know I did anything wrong. Fuck it.
You don't know that the East Coast doesn't... I mean, I guess he's from Alabama where everybody's got a shotgun in every car.
He's lived in Jersey, in Philly for 4 years now.
That's a great point.
And Philly's right next to Jersey. He knows that...
Maybe ask a guy.
Yeah, it's cool to carry this loaded weapon around, right?
Fuck no, man.
No registration or nothing, no permit. Yeah,
it's
that's
3
good.
to 7.
Hey, So 88-89 here with the Phillies, with the Sixers. Right. This is start of the bad period. 46-36 this year, so not terrible. They get swept by the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs, though. So that's not terrific. Obviously, no one's looking at that. Chuckster, great year though. 25.8 rebounds, 25.8 points, 12.5 rebounds, 4.1 assists. Mm-hmm. He's fucking crushing it. All-star again. $1,536,000
awesome.
As well. Not too goddamn shabby. And on top of all that, things are going well. Now, this usually, as we say, when things are going badly, people do this, but things are all going well. So he says, you know what? Let's throw something else in the mix, and he gets married.
Yeah.
So he marries a woman.
Who is it?
Maureen Blumhard, her name is. They met at a restaurant sometime that year.
Yeah.
Or the year before, and they get married. And everyone's like, why are you married so quick? That was fast. Maybe because later on in the year they have a daughter named Christiana.
Yeah.
So one thing with Chuck, he is still with this woman.
Yes, I was going to say, I think Maureen's still his wife.
No, they've been a stand by each other kind of couple for a long time.
Amazing. She's a saint.
Which is amazing considering
the amount of debaucherous shit he's done to her.
Oh, my God.
He's put her through the ringer.
He is... Okay, Chuck is a pussy hound.
Yes.
Like, from way back.
Boy, does he love women.
He loves him some women.
Not just like he has a very specific type.
When I ran into him, he had 2 women with him.
Yep.
And they were,
not his wife.
They were his wife. They were a lot younger than him. I just know that much. So, I mean, that's
his thing.
He don't care. He'll tell you that. I don't know if they have an arrangement or what, but shit, I don't know how she puts up with it, but whatever. That's between them. So 89-90, they're 53-29, which isn't too bad. They win in the first round, actually. They beat the Cavaliers and the most boring offense ever put together.
Right.
And then they lose in a 5-game series against the Bulls. This is when the Bulls emerged, and I think the next year is when they won the title.
Okay.
This is when they lost to the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Such fun basketball.
Oh, this is a great... From like 88 to fucking 98, that 10 years was beautiful, man.
It was great because the East and the West had at least 8 good competitive teams, and you knew the playoffs were going to be fun.
There was huge stars. There was it was a different thing. It was great. You could name the starting 5 of just about every team in 1994.
Absolutely.
You could just name them off. And people who follow basketball now are like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not this. It was so like iconic.
Right. And they stayed. They didn't just move all over the place. I mean, they moved from time to time, but it's not
people
like...
move, usually at the end of their career.
Yeah, but now the starting 5 from one team will be throughout the league somewhere else tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
True.
You never know.
So in 1990, after an overtime win while playing for the Sixers here, Barkley told reporters... Jesus Christ, this didn't age well at all.
Oh, boy.
He had to apologize for this like a year and a half later. Like, this is one of those that wasn't like 20 years later.
Yeah.
It was like a year and a half. They're like, hey, that was pretty fucked up what you said last year. Okay, brace yourselves. Quote, this is a game that if you lose, you go home and beat your wife and kids. Did you see my wife jumping up and down at the end of that game? That's because she knew I wasn't going to beat her.
Holy shit, Chuck.
Now, he is... clearly trying to make a joke.
Right.
He's not, and later on he says, I was kidding, but that's not.
That's like, feels like you're airing dirty laundry of like what other people certainly do.
That's wild, man. Yeah, just to say that's because, to say like, this is a game, if you lose, you go home, beat your wife and kids. If you said that and then laughed, I'm just kidding, blah, blah, blah. That would be like, okay, a little off color, but whatever. He like went into it further.
Right.
You see her jumping up and down? That's because she knew I wasn't going to beat her. That's where you're like, damn, Chuck, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Not cool.
He's a fan of corporal punishment, too, though. Jesus.
25.2 points a game this year and 11.5 rebounds. So, I don't know. He's beating something. Now, this is when he says that a reporter asked him about a guy. Somebody said everybody likes this player. Everybody says he works really hard. So they asked Chuck about this player, and he said, quote, if you go out with an ugly girl and they say she has a great personality, she's ugly. If they tell you a guy works hard, he can't play a lick. Same thing.
All right.
So, yeah, works hard is the great personality of basketball, of sports.
Why did ugly women have to come into this?
Because he's Charles Barkley. That's what I mean. Even in that, when he's just talking about a guy who's overrated, he brings in, it doesn't matter to him. He's like, I'll turn this misogynist in some way, shape, or form. Don't you worry. I'll get there. Hold on. I'll get there.
Stink pussy.
Keep it rolling.
Calm down, Chuck.
Keep it rolling. Women need to wash their asses. He comes out doing Martin Lawrence's fucking SNL fucking.
God damn it, Chuck.
Damn, Chuck. So,
edit your interview.
Shit crumbs all in the bed. So anyway.
You only said 2 lines, Chuck, and we got to edit it.
So we're asking you about that point guard.
Right. Shit crumbs in the bed for Martin.
Come on, man. So he's an all-star again that year.
How did Martin not know that wasn't going to make it?
I think he did know.
That
was the point. Yeah. When a comic does that shit on SNL, they know
they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I don't want to go on SNL for a while, but this is going to get my next special a shitload of attention. 'Cause now everybody hears about me. It works. It's a smart move.
I got to be in fucking blue streak. I'm going to at least do this.
Hey, fuck that. I'll make so much money off Big Mama's house. It's not even funny. Martin got paid.
He did.
He is
so much
between
money.
that and he's got his show is still on.
It's crazy, right?
If you're in a hotel, like when we're on the road, it's like VH1 plays it all night.
It's
like fucking 12 episodes. I was sitting there watching Martin all fucking night. I'm like, what is this? Is still on?
And it's shockingly okay. It's not. It's not bad.
I mean, it's got its corny parts, but it's a sitcom from the 90s, so
it was
it's fine.
on regular
but
TV.
It's also, it's got its thing.
Good.
I'll watch it.
When he's a mailman with big buck teeth.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
He's so good.
Fucking Brum Man coming through the window. That's some good shit, man.
Brum Man.
Yeah, I love that shit, dude. I watched the shit out of Martin when I was a kid. So anyway, he makes $3 million for that this year for those comments and everything else, and the basketball.
Yeah.
Both. So 90-91, this is when it really gets interesting here, boy. Oh, man. His whole life kind of gets crazy. The team goes 44-38. They sweep the Bucks in the first round, lose to the Bulls in the second round. So I think he's just looking at, okay, if I'm here, I'm just getting beat by the Bulls every year. Because this team isn't what I need it to be, so what the fuck. He goes to the All-Star game that year, like we said. He's an All-Star for like 10 straight years. And he is the MVP of the All-Star game.
Is that right?
Which is pretty impressive when you hear what the rosters are.
Yeah, it's the fucking All-Star game.
90-91 also. Yeah. Think about the different generations. Let me read you the rosters here. The East is Michael Jordan, Joe Dumars, Charles Barkley, Bernard King, Patrick Ewing. That's the starting five. The bench, Dominique Wilkins, Ricky Pierce, Hersey Hawkins, Kevin McHale, Brad Doherty, Alvin Robertson, Robert Parrish, and Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas didn't play because they were hurt. Right. So, and then the West, who they're playing against, Magic Johnson, Kevin Johnson, Chris Mullin, Karl Malone, David Robinson.
Wow.
That's a fucking squad right there.
Unbelievable.
This is not too shabby. The bench, James Worthy, Clyde Drexler, Kevin Duckworth, Tom Chambers, Terry Porter, Tim Hardaway, John Stockton.
The best.
Pretty good. That's
great.
That's about as good of an all-star game as you're going to find there in terms of rosters. Maybe the year before, but
so awesome.
And he's the MVP there. So not too bad for the Chuckster there. What was that? 90-91. He is 27.6 points a game as well that year.
Jeez,
and 10.1 rebounds. March 91, though, he's suspended for a game and fined $10,000.
What he did.
Well, there was an overtime loss to the Nets, and this is a wife-beating game. A wife-beating kind of loss.
Yeah, an embarrassment.
The look on his face was like, oh, my God, did he beat his wife at the
game?
At the game?
I didn't hear about this.
No. That would get a lot of news.
Yeah.
But that kind of game, is as he described it anyway. Yeah. And apparently there was somebody heckling him for the whole overtime and really being an asshole. So as he came off the court, he spit at the guy.
I remember that.
And it didn't hit the guy, though. It hit an 8-year-old girl.
Oh, no, Chuck.
Chuckster. Bad aim with spit, Chief.
Wow.
So he ended up spitting on an 8-year-old girl, which the footage just does not look good. Because all you see is a man spitting and it landing on a child. There's no context of I'm spitting at you, motherfucker, and he was looking at him, and then it went another direction. Like the wind took it, and everybody's facial expressions changed.
Or he's angry and he just put a little too much oomph on it.
Poof, and it lands in a kid's fucking head. And you're like, oh my God, that's so messed up.
I remember the spitting because when he came here, that was what they talked about.
Oh yeah, it was a big deal.
Right.
And then in the playoffs that year, April of 91, he is actually charged with disorderly conduct.
For that?
No, for another incident a month later where Bucks fans at the Bradley Center, he threw cups of Gatorade at them.
Really?
Full cups of Gatorade at them, and was charged with disorderly conduct by the Milwaukee police and fined $109 by the city of Milwaukee for doing that during a basketball
Criminal
game.
behavior unbelievable.
Wild, right?
I never knew that.
I didn't either. That was great. I had no idea that he got fined. I knew he did that, but I didn't know he got fined by the city.
Criminal charges.
Not the NBA didn't do anything. The fucking city of Milwaukee had to step in. That's weird as shit.
Wild.
So he's an all-star, obviously, and he's $2.9 million that year. Also, his book comes out. His first book. He writes a lot of books.
Yeah, 4 years in the NBA, and you got something to say, Chuck?
His book is called Outrageous with an exclamation point. So it is. It's co-written, obviously. He's got a writer, as all athletes do. They're not sitting down with their fucking typewriter and typing it out. When I was 12, no. In this book, he criticized his teammates. He criticizes Philly's owner. He criticizes a bunch of shit that you wouldn't criticize in public, and then the book comes out, and they go, hey, Chuck. The press goes, hey, Chuck, you talk shit about a bunch of teammates and your owner? What's up with that? And he goes, I was misquoted. Everyone said, Chuck, it's your book.
Right.
This isn't
a Newsweek article.
This isn't a fucking article. No one sat down. This is your book,
there was
brother.
An editor that said, is this what you want to say? And you said yes.
You said, yeah, it's not, you didn't just say it in recording, go, did I just say some stupid shit and they're going to use it? Like, you got to read it afterwards, go through it, make sure that's what you wanted to say. At the end, when they're going to publish it, they give you galleys so then you can read through it again. Like, that's like, hey, just to make sure, final fucking chance to turn around.
Misquoted.
And he went, oh no, hell no, fuck those people. Misquoted in his own book.
Unbelievable.
That is a new one.
That's a guy that wants out.
That's a new one. Yeah, exactly. 91-92 Philly, 35-47. No playoffs. They suck. He is not happy, as you can imagine. 23.1 points and 11.1 rebounds. His play is a cry for help even. He's not a happy guy. Still an all-star, obviously. But during the season, he has a problem. I think maybe his anger is spilling over.
Sure.
December 23rd. It's a holiday.
It is.
It is a holiday-themed thing.
You've got a daughter.
There is... Yeah,
you
think
should
about
be building a wagon somewhere.
There's jingle bells jingling at this moment in time. People are putting shit together.
Right.
People are watching, like, the little fucking claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Such a bad movie.
The dentist kid on there.
Right.
Whatever the fuck his name is, Herbie?
Snoopy's Christmas is on.
All this shit. This is what people are doing. Not the Chuckster. He's in Milwaukee at a downtown parking lot at 2:30 a.m.
Oh, no.
So... as we know from Crime and Sports, whenever I start off with the date line with, this city, this location, 2:30 a.m., that means there will be police involvement.
If a.m. is the time.
Yeah.
And Charles Barkley.
And we're talking about it.
Right.
There's an issue.
Who's got in the car?
According to police reports, Barkley and a female friend, not his wife, were leaving a downtown tavern when a man called out to him.
Yeah.
He says, he was walking away, Charles was, with this girl there. Charles, I hear you're one of the baddest dudes in the NBA. Okay?
Oh, no.
So Charles said he turned around and he saw a dude and 3 other guys. So there's like 4 guys there. There's conflicting reports of 3 or 4 guys. I'm not sure which, but 3 or 4 guys. And he said that they approached him, and one of the guys says, you're so tough on the court. Show me how tough you are. So they're trying to be like, oh, let's go beat up Charles Barkley, which, what are you, stupid?
That's dumb for, like,
he's
your own self.
He's fucking gigantic.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen him?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know just from being 6'4", that's big, but he's got almost 100 pounds on me, and he's a professional fucking athlete.
For your own self-wellness, that's not a good idea.
No.
Also, you're going to look like an asshole if you're literal taking 4 dudes and beating the shit out of an athlete. What are you doing that
What about
for?
4 dudes and you still can't beat the shit out of an athlete?
Did they all lose?
Well, this is what ends up happening here.
He Van Damned them?
So apparently, he said, you're so tough on the court, show me how tough you are. So Barkley punched him in the face with his left hand, gave him a left to the face. Dude fell on the ground. 2 bouncers from a bar nearby came over and, took Barkley and his friend there to the car and said, okay, you guys should go and go to the hotel. Now, the guy who said that I hear you're one of the best dudes in the NBA and got punched. He said, I made that comment, but that's all I said to him, and he punched me. That was his fucking thing.
Okay.
He's like, I said, I hear you're one of the baddest dudes in the NBA. I went up to talk to him, and he fucking socked me in the face. That's fucked up.
Well, think about how you're leading conversations, sir.
It's 2:30 a.m. in a dark parking lot.
You don't start conversations that way.
You have to start conversations like, hey, mean you no harm.
Or
2:30 a.m. in a parking lot. Huge fan. Thumbs up. You have to be real friendly looking when you.
Yeah.
It's like a dog. You have to go over with your fucking hand turned the right way.
You got to be wearing his jersey to have a conversation at 2:30 in the morning.
You want to sniff it or whatever because, if I'm Charles Barkley and I'm leaving at 2:30 in the morning and I'm sure he's got an expensive watch on and money and things like that, going to his nice car.
Also, he doesn't want to look like a bitch getting beat up by dudes in front of a chick that he's just trying to fuck, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, not only that, though, he knows when he's out, he's got to be head on a swivel just for people wanting to rob him because they know he's rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's got to look around for that. So people come up to him 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's too late for you to be friendly to me now.
Friendly wore off at 10 p.m.
Walker,
Fuck out of here.
after my third drink,
Right.
friendly's over. So this guy, now Barkley ends up just going back to his hotel room, and that's where Milwaukee police ended up finding him, knocking on his door, and arresting him. He broke the guy's nose, apparently, socked him real good. He is James R. McCarthy, who's a student at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, also had cuts on his forehead, and he was treated and released from the hospital. Barkley is out on a $500 bond, arrested for battery. And
he's arrested for teaching a kid a lesson.
I mean,
is what he's arrested
that's what I'm
for.
saying. I
You
was
don't do
okay
that
with
shit.
that. The Sixers say, quote, the 76ers won't be issuing a statement until we get all the facts. It sort of looks like a private matter between Barkley and this individual. We're not getting involved.
Sounds like a him problem.
Yeah, the owner was like, he talked worse shit about me, so fuck him. I don't care. Fuck that guy.
We didn't fight.
Barkley says that he hit the guy in the face as hard as he could.
With a left.
With a left. And it took 2 bouncers to initially stop the whole thing and get Barkley to leave and go to his car. Barkley said one of the guys was real big and looked like a weightlifter. That's why he said he had to, he didn't want to let them get the drop on him.
Yeah.
So later on, he talks about this on a podcast he was on later. It's the Low Post podcast. It's an ESPN podcast. They're the only people that he said this to, so got to give him credit. Wow. He says, quote, all of a sudden I could hear running. Then it started getting closer to me, and I could hear them saying, fuck Charles Barkley, fuck Charles Barkley. See, wasn't in the initial reports at all, so I don't know if it's true or not. So he said to his girl here, quote, hey, girl, we need to speed this up. Get to the car. Yeah. I could hear people running toward me, but it was really cold. I didn't want to stop and turn around. We start walking faster. She had to park a long way away, not the lot of the where there's parking there. We got about 2 blocks away, and these 3 guys are up on me. I'm like, yo, man, what's y'all problem? They're like, we don't fucking like you. We don't fucking like you, and we're going to kick your ass. I said, why y'all going to kick my ass? I don't even know you dudes. They're like, no, we don't like you. So he says, quote, an old girl is screaming, and I'm screaming, hey, shut up. I'm trying to think over here. Because she's yelling. He's like, I don't need you yelling, too.
Old girl's screaming.
Old girl screaming. He said, so they were 3 big weightlifters, and they were right in my grill. 2 at my back and 1 right in my grill. And I say, yo, man, I don't want no trouble. The dude says, I'm going to kick your ass. So I'm starting to think, okay, what are you going to do? Because right now you're probably going to get your ass kicked. In his mind, he's like, all right, these guys are going to jump me. So he said that he didn't have a lot of time to put this all together, but he said, this is fucking amazing. This story is great. Yeah. So he says that the first thing that came to mind was, quote, make him think you're crazy.
What?
Okay? So how does he accomplish this?
Yeah.
It's freezing out, by the way. This is
Starts
December
clucking
23rd.
like a chicken?
This is December 23rd in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We've been to Milwaukee in December.
It's cold.
It's fucking cold.
Yeah.
So, and he's an Alabama guy.
Yeah.
Not a cold guy. People in Milwaukee walk around. It was 27 degrees outside and windy, and people had shorts and a T-shirt on, and they don't even have their hands in their pockets.
No,
They're just
walking
strutting
brisk,
around. Yeah.
Not even a beanie cap on. Heading to a basketball game.
I had a goddamn fucking parka on and a hat and gloves, and these people are like
indoors with the window open so you can smoke in the green room, and you're bundled up.
Yeah, they're like
watching these fuckers walk down the street.
They're like, this isn't shit. Okay, so he says, quote, so I started taking off all my clothes.
Wow.
I took off my jacket, had a big coat on. I take off my shirt. I take off my shoes and socks. I think it was right around the time we were doing Karate Kid. So I was like, wax on, wax off. I'm doing this. And all of a sudden, these 2 dudes back up. But this one dude is still in my grill. I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's working on 2 of them. But it's not working on another one. Then I said I might as well make my move. So I hit this one dude as hard as I can hit a dude. And
shirtless, shoeless.
Julie said he drilled him, and then once he's crazy and shirtless and shoeless, and he knocked the fuck out of the guys. The other 2 guys were like, he's a psychopath.
Right.
I don't want any part of this shit. Yeah. He said, that's where I did my Karate Kid impression. Fucking, I took off all my clothes because I had these 3 guys that were trying to beat me up. I just wanted them to think I was crazy. I was improvising. I'm like the Marines, but this one guy kept standing right in front of me, and I said, wax on, wax off. The 2 guys backed off, and there, one fool standing right there, and I hit him as hard as I could, broke his nose. No shirt, no shoes, no problem.
Go on, Kenny Chesney.
He's out of his mind. He's down, and he's like, you fucking hit me. And I said, you damn right, and there's plenty more where that came from.
In Charles Barkley's tone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's plenty more where that came from. Over shirtless and shoeless like a fucking maniac. That's amazing. That is really fucking awesome. And he said that the other guys were kind of, not really into it. He said it would have been an interesting proposition, me trying to fight off these three big guys if they all got on me at the same time. But when I hit old boy, he went down and that was it. So, yeah. So he is arrested for battery. Maximum that he could get is 9 months in jail and a $10,000 fine. But I say that was warranted.
Maybe so.
That's one of those.
Don't challenge a dude in the street.
You challenge a guy in the street at 2:30 in the morning and he hits you, you deserve it.
Yeah,
Sorry. You shouldn't have fucking challenged him.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. Don't challenge giant men in the street.
Right. This is the old James idea that if two men want to fight, if they're challenged and you agree, whatever happens, happens.
And if there's three of you and you want to fight one of you and he wins, fuck all of you.
All of you
I don't give a
deserve
shit.
what you got.
Yeah, you should go to jail too. Them, not him.
Yeah.
So he says later on at practice, he says, quote, the man follows me for a block and a half, messes with me and harasses who I'm with, this girl there. I can only ignore so much, and I wasn't going to fight the guy. But when he walks up to me, fists balled up, saying he wants a shot at me, I'm going to defend myself. So he likes to talk. Less than a week after that, he is talking about how his teammates are lazy.
In Philly.
Yeah. He says, quote, we've got a lazy team. If we're not pushed, we don't play. In the past, I would get on guys and ride them like horses, but I quit doing that because all the guys complained. Well, now you can't worry about feelings when you're below 500. Yeah. So fuck them. 1992 here, January 14th, this is a couple weeks later, Michael Jordan talks about Barkley. Really? He's asked about Barkley and how he feels about him. So Jordan says, quote, I like Charles. He's a good guy. I just wish he could get out of all of his problems. You've got to be, I wouldn't say a babysitter, but you've got to know when to criticize and when not to criticize. He's talking about as a team leader because Charles said he doesn't get on people. And they asked Jordan, what do you think about that? He's been a little too negative with his teammates, and now they're starting to fight back. And it's hard to win when you've got teammates fighting. He says, though, this is fucking great. They asked him about Barkley's comments and how he says crazy shit to the media. Mm-hmm. And Jordan admitted that he is a little bit jealous. He said, literally, yeah, we do live a little vicariously through Chuck. Whenever he says shit like that, we're like, I wish I could say that shit. Like, 'cause they can't say it because he's got kids following him saying they want to be like Mike.
And he's got shoes to sell.
Yeah, so he can't take his shoes off and whoop somebody's ass.
Right.
That's the difference. Mike would have taken everything off, left his fucking Air Jordans on. So he would have been like, I did keep my Jordans on because
they improved the punch power.
That's what it is. The maximum grip and the bounce from the air really
really delivers a good laugh.
Puts an extra pop in your shot there. It's pretty good shit. So
Barkley would have sold more shoes if he'd said that.
That's what I mean. I kept my shoes on though. Jordan says, everybody has a little devil on their left shoulder, but the angel on the right is a little bit more overwhelming and it tells you to shut up before you actually say it. But with Charles, the devil is a little bit bigger. These days, Barkley says he's taking a vacation from the media until the All-Star break, and he said that Jordan said that Barkley should try to learn from him a little bit, from Jordan.
Right.
He says, quote, when I lost the fun for the game this year, this is Jordan, I went back to the original love I had for the game and totally pushed aside everything else and said, when I step on the basketball court, I want to have fun. He has to step on the basketball court and think about all the times he used to have fun, all the good things that are still happening to him in basketball, pertaining to basketball, and get rid of some of the negative stuff that he's surrounding himself in right now because it's really bothering him, you can tell. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. January 15th, the day after Jordan makes these comments, 1992, he is in a bar fight with Jason Williams. Charles Barkley.
Oh, really?
Not against each other. They're just hanging out in a bar. Jason Williams gets in a fight. Barkley's actually not, from what we understand, doesn't throw a punch, but was right there, so he gets roped into the whole thing.
Jason Williams, by the way.
Yeah, our Jason Williams. Murderer Jason Williams. Episode 5 or 6.
Limo
Jason
driver
Williams.
shooter Jason Williams.
That Jason Williams. Yeah, not white chocolate Jason Williams. The other one. The other idiot Jason Williams. So, they said they were hanging out. They were at the bar at the Hyatt Regency, and they lost to the Bulls that night. They were in Chicago, and it was Charles Barkley, Jeff Ruland, Manute Bull, And the Manute Bull in a bar. That's just so weird. Ducking and shit.
How the hell did he get in there?
They had to like turn him sideways.
Right.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from Law and Crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
So, and Tony Harris, the team trainer, and Jason Williams at one point was there because they were in the hotel, so he's kind of coming in and out. And he runs through and he says, "I've got to get my exercise somehow," they were saying. And then at about 2 a.m., Williams ends up in a bar fight somehow. And they're like, "He's here? What the fuck is going on?" So this is the day before was when his house burned down, Jason Williams.
Really?
Yeah. Remember his mansion burned down?
Yeah.
So his mansion burned down and he was a little bit pissed off. And, so he's out late at night and then somebody's fucking with him. And Charles Barkley says, quote, "I was at the bar talking to some people. I had met John Cusack, the actor, in there."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fucking cool as shit. Yeah. Damn, that's awesome.
Oh,
so,
I want to be in a bar with that guy.
I know, right? That sounds great. So he said, "All I know is Jason got in a fight with another guy. I didn't see it. My back was to them. I was about 10 yards away. I heard a loud thump and turned around. That's all I really know."
Yeah.
But they tried to make it like Charles was like, whatever. So apparently this guy, Christopher Vincent, who's 34, he was haranguing the Sixers, saying that they weren't strong.
Oh, boy.
What are you, fucking Ukrainian or something? Like,
you're not strong.
You're not strong like me. Watch, I pick table up, bolted to ground. You pick up.
You're not strong.
You're not strong.
All right, sir.
You're a bunch of pussy.
Maybe so, but I'm going to get some and you're not.
Yeah, and Jason Williams is 6'11", fucking 275 pounds. Don't tell that.
You're not stronger than that guy.
That's the thing. You can look at him and go, "Well, he's not a weightlifter." You know the natural strength a person that size has? A lot of it. That's a big person.
It's just a lot of man.
It's a lot of man. His fist is huge. Yeah. He can hold a basketball like a fucking peanut.
Right.
You understand how big his fist is?
You're barely open hand palming a fucking beer glass.
Yeah.
Just move on, sir.
So, yeah, Chuck says, "I wasn't involved in any way, in any capacity. Yes, I was at the bar with some of my teammates, but I resent people saying that I was talking to women."
Okay.
Because they were saying Chuck was talking to the lady, so he wasn't involved. He's like, "I was there and I wasn't involved, but don't say I was talking to women."
I got a wife. Stop fucking up my house.
Meanwhile, a month beforehand, he's like, "I was with my lady friend leaving the bar." Like,
I was with old girl.
Old girl starts doing this, so wow. Jason got in a fight with another guy, and I didn't even see it. So Christopher Vincent, the guy who got beat up, was actually charged with aggravated assault.
Good.
And Williams, who hit him in the head with a beer mug.
What?
Apparently, somebody said he had a knife.
Oh.
This guy, when he ended up not having a knife, but Jason Williams and a bunch of other people thought he did have a knife.
Okay.
So he hit him in the head with a beer mug, which is warranted if someone's trying to stab you.
Well, it's also warranted if somebody's attacking you in a bar. if that's what you've got to defend yourself, that's what you got.
Yeah. So Barkley said, when the police and paramedics came, I stayed with Jason because I didn't want him to be there by himself. The other guys had left before it happened. Jason told me what happened. That's all I know. I'm not in the middle of this. Don't drag me into this. Okay. So he said, I just stayed to make sure Jason was cool. Cops get there. They're like, Charles Barkley must have beat somebody up. Perfect. Problem is, the day before, he missed a team flight as well. So he doesn't need publicity while he's missing team flights. Exactly. They're going to fine him. He said, quote, I overslept. I went to bed at 4:30 in the morning. The problem was, he was supposed to meet somebody at the airport. Actually, two people at the airport. His wife and daughter.
Oh,
that is a picture of them from the actual newspaper, waiting for Charles Barkley that will never show up because he didn't show up. There they are.
Maureen.
Yeah, kid's cute as shit, too.
Yeah.
So
is Maureen. The two of them she has Dad's mouth. Look at that.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
She looks like a girl, Charles Barkley. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is, nice picture there. So
she looks like she's screaming, where the fuck's my dad?
It's like, and the wife's like, this motherfucker. They're taking pictures of me waiting for him. I will stab him in the face when I see him. So, that year, $3.2 million, and he's an all-star. June 17th, 1992, after the season, he gets his wish, and he is traded by the 76ers to the Phoenix Suns for Jeff Hornacek, Andrew Lang, and Tim Perry.
That's right.
Yeah, great deal, Sixers.
It's three bodies.
Exactly. Three bodies.
It's over half a starting lineup.
Yeah.
Granted, they're not starters.
You can take Tim Perry and throw him on the pile of bodies.
Just throw him away.
Yeah. So this is career period number 3, this 4-year period. This is the Suns period.
Yeah.
This is a completely different, everyone is completely different.
Yeah.
That first 4 years, he just kind of shut up and played and was like a colorful player.
Right.
Second 4 years, all complaining, fines and all sorts of shit. The Suns years are like kind of when he's like, it's almost like he's legit at that point when he's on the Suns because they made it to the finals.
They also made it a big fucking deal for him coming here.
Oh, it was huge.
Oh my! That was the first time I'd ever heard blockbuster trade. Ever.
It was big
because it was so many people.
Yeah, it was
for him.
Well, usually in the NBA, you didn't see. Magic Johnson never got traded. Larry Bird never got traded. Michael Jordan, never. Isaiah Thomas. You name all these guys over the last 10 years. None of them went anywhere.
Right.
They all stayed right with fuck put. 70s, they moved around. 80s, they kept guys. And so now this was like, whoa, they're trading Charles, one of the top 2 players.
And a shitload of people for him.
Yeah, it was wild. So, but before that, they trade him. And then before that is the Dream Team. And just a quick run over of the Dream Team because we talked about it. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Larry Bird, Jesus Christ, man, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, David Robinson, Charles Barkley.
Boy, oh boy.
That's a fucking squad right there.
McDonald's sold the shit out of that team.
Oh, God, they did. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so the David Robinson had played with the 88 team, and a couple of these guys played with the 84 team.
Yep.
So this was the first time pros were playing, though, actual pros here. So Johnson said that the Olympics, Magic Johnson, this was a year after the HIV diagnosis. He said this was like a lifesaver because it was it made him feel like he could overcome it because he was playing and doing things.
This is what did it?
Yeah, it made him feel like he needed to really not give up on it, basically.
So if you're suffering from AIDS, just make the NBA.
Just make the Dream Team.
Right. You'll be all right.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Anyone can do it.
Thanks, Magic. Found the cure.
Yeah, that's amazing. The Australian delegation of the Olympics threatened to boycott the games in protest of Magic Johnson's presence.
Is that right?
Absolutely, fearing he might infect other athletes. And the threats backfired, and Johnson received even more public support, not only from the public, but from other countries and teams and things like that. So, it's fucking interesting. 1992, Clyde Drexler was chosen over Isaiah Thomas. That was the final spot. There's a big controversy over why Isaiah Thomas wasn't chosen.
And the big story is that Jordan
doesn't like him and said, don't pick him, basically, which is weird because wasn't Chuck Daly the coach? It was Isaiah's coach.
Yeah.
So that's.
Wouldn't Chuck have. I don't know.
No, Jordan's in charge.
His voice matters more.
He's in charge, period. That's all there is to it. Yeah, you don't want to piss him off. That's all he's going to do is torture him anyway.
Right. And Isaiah Thomas is a point guard.
Yeah.
So
you got Stockton.
Clyde is a shooting guard, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really a choice of the matter. It's just who's backing up Jordan.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't see any other point guards besides Stockton in there.
Really?
So it just seems like
that
Stockton's a point guard.
That looks bad as fuck.
So, and then Christian Laettner was chosen over Shaq as the one college player. Because at the time, Shaq was considered not as polished of a player. Laettner was considered a more versatile.
Fundamentally, he was crazy.
Yeah,
sound.
but you still wanted to see Shaq out there,
of course,
dunking on fucking foreigners. That would have been hilarious.
Looking back on it today, yeah,
I want to see Shaq dunk on a New Zealander. That's hilarious.
But in '92, people wanted to see Laettner crossing over and shooting threes on people
because he was in the finals all the time, or the Final Four or whatever. 11 of the players and 3 of the coaches were eventually inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Unreal.
That's fucking absolutely crazy. Jordan said he didn't want to be the face of the team, and
I'm sorry, Mike. You're
are
the face of fucking anything basketball.
So
suck it up.
Magic and Bird were selected as co-captains instead. They did it that way, which is pretty goddamn cool here. So Isaiah Thomas left off the team. Barkley ends up leading the team with 18 points a game.
Is that right?
Of everybody, yeah. And they crush. They go 8-0, obviously. They destroy
everything.
The Olympics. Yeah.
Anybody.
He says, oh, Jesus Christ. This is about playing. This is only Charles Barkley could say this shit and get away with it. Because it's pretty racist. But I mean, he said it. I want to say he says this was about playing an African team. He said, "quote Somebody hits me, I'm going to hit him back, even if it does look like he hasn't eaten in a couple weeks."
Oh my God!
I thought dude was going to pull a spear on me.
Oh my God, Chuck!
You can't say that, Chuck. Jesus Christ, Chuck. Come on, man.
You can't say that post like 84.
You can't say that post 44. What are you talking about? You can't say that post 1884.
He is from Alabama, man.
Holy shit. That is like, wow.
No, Chuck.
I mean, the 80s, that's a cheap joke, even if it looks like he hasn't eaten in a couple weeks. Right. That would be a cheep joke in the 80s. But I thought he was going to pull a spear on me.
That's really doubling down.
A little much there. So with the Phoenix Suns, 1992-93, this roster, Danny Ainge, Chuckster, Cedric Sabalas, Tom Chambers, Richard Dumas, who we've done an episode on, who was a great young player, Frank Johnson, Kevin Johnson, who are not related, I believe. No, they are. Yeah.
No,
they aren't. Frank has the other one.
Frank Johnson's related to Eddie Johnson.
Eddie Johnson. There you go. Yeah, not so Kevin and
who just died.
Weren't both point guards, both 6'1". Not related. Anyway, Tim Kempton, Dan Marley, Oliver Miller, Gerard Mustaf. Remember him?
Oh, my.
We could do an episode on him, too.
Bad
a lot
dude.
of problems.
Lots of guns in that guy's history.
Kurt Rambis and Mark West. So that's the squad.
No hot rod yet, huh?
No. This is the Mark West squad here. Now, I have to say, I saw Charles Barkley's first game in Phoenix.
No kidding.
It was a preseason game. It was America West Arenas, which is now, was it U.S.?
U.S. Airways. Yeah. No, it's not even. It's Talking Stick. It's a casino
Jesus Christ.
Now.
It changes every 2 years. But that was the first game there as well, the first game that they played there. So when they introduced Barkley,
oh boy,
that was the loudest that I've been present for basketball crowd cheer I've ever fucking heard. It was bonkers.
Yeah.
The place was shaking, and they had the Olympic rings and all that shit. They made a big deal out of it. For him, they turned the lights down. They put music on. I swear to God, they acted like he was Hulk Hogan in '84. And they started
the starting lineup with the lights on, and then Barkley.
And then that's exactly what they did. And then they brought from all the four corners, they brought the Olympic rings down. The whole court had the light up Olympic rings on it. And it was fucking. They acted like from the heavens. Turning water into wine, Charles Barkley. That's what it was like.
Here's 11 assholes and Charles Barkley.
It was amazing. So
12 on a squad, right?
Yeah, about that. Right. So there's a lawsuit, by the way, at this point also about the somebody beating him apparently, or he beat somebody apparently. Apparently this was in New Jersey. A guy named Dennis McKeever, a Yonkers native, said that he punched him in the face with the back of his hand. So he gave him a backhand.
That's not a punch, sir.
It's not a punch. That's a backhand.
You're from Yonkers. You know the difference.
Yeah. The guy's a New York City firefighter, McKeever, also.
Oh, that's a problem.
He said he extended his hand to tell Barkley nice game.
Yeah.
But he said instead Barkley hit him in the fucking backhanded him in the face. Wow. He said that Barkley told him, quote, "Fans like you ruin it for other fans," before striking him. It's like, what?
Thank God that's pre 9/11.
Yeah, He didn't understand it. He's like, I don't even know why he was talking to me. He said maybe somebody else yelled something. A lot of people were yelling. I don't understand. I don't know. So I said, what are you talking about? And he said, let's go into the tunnel so I can't be sued.
Oh, Jesus.
He said, then he acted like he was leaving and turned around and whacked me. So, there's a civil lawsuit there. I guess it knocked him down, swelled up his nose and shit like that.
Got to go tell the boys
what
happened.
Yeah. So under cross-examination, the Barkley's attorney asked the guy, how much had he been drinking, and he said he had 3-4 beers during the game, but he wasn't drunk. He also said that he called for a lawyer while he was that he denied that he called for a lawyer while he was on the ground, or he said he didn't brag that Barkley hit him either. Now, during this, Barkley was in court laughing during the testimony, this guy, and was signing autographs for kids during a break. And, Barkley said at the start of the trial, quote, I'll give him $5 to call it a day. That's it. That's my only offer to him. That was it. And then they asked him afterwards, and he said, some fans are idiots, 90% of them are great, which I think somebody else has said that before.
Yeah.
I said 99, though.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
the difference. He's not given enough credit, Charles Barkley.
Well, and also basketball's he's probably close, but he's probably a bit off still.
Yeah, there's way less.
It's 60-40.
I was just going to say, it's more assholes, definitely. So 92-93 Suns. They go 62-20. This was a fucking squad.
Yeah, it was.
This was fun. They were a fun, magical squad that they were like this weird shit salad, okay?
Yeah. It's like the aisle of misfit toys. Just like people that weren't really great.
They were like one of those sponges that you get that's really tiny, and then you put 3 drops of water in it. It's 5 times the size. That Barkley's the water. Without the water, it's this little tiny sponge. Little bit of water, boom! The sum of the parts becomes so much better.
They're 8th or 9th in the West, minus Barkley. With Barkley, 2nd or 1st.
That's it. So they are first. They crushed. They beat the Lakers 3-2 in the first round of the playoffs.
Wow.
4-2 over the Spurs in the second round. 7-game series against the Sonics in the third. So that's they played those series out, man. They got to be tired.
Yeah.
And then 6-game series against the Bulls, culminating with that awful John Paxson twat shot from the fucking. Oh God, I want to smack him in the face.
If you do anything, don't leave Paxson
there
open.
He is,
what do you do?
there. So that was a fucking nightmare.
They had Steve Kerr too, though, right?
That was a nightmare. The Suns that year?
No, the
Bulls did. Yeah.
They had 2 unbelievable 3-point shooters,
tiny 3-point
and
shooters.
B.J. Armstrong.
Yeah, that little fucker too.
It was going to happen.
Yeah. So Barkley, 25.6 points a game that year, 12.2 rebounds. He's an all-star and the league MVP as well. He was an absolute monster that year. This is his best year.
Right.
He was just a monster. He could do anything this year. It was wild.
Right.
Bill Walton, the NBA legendary center, who's also a real pain in the ass in the booth and just makes annoying comments.
Dummy.
He says about it, talking about at this point, he said that Barkley has so much ability. He said, quote, Barkley is like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in that they don't really play a position. He plays everything. He plays basketball. There's nobody who does what Charles Barkley does. He's a dominant rebounder, a dominant defensive player, a 3-point shooter, a dribbler, and a playmaker.
He didn't have to say all that. What he said there was so perfect.
First sentence was perfect.
Yeah.
He's like Johnson and he's like Magic and Larry he doesn't have a position. He does everything.
He's not a position player. He plays basketball.
He's all around.
That's what he does.
He'll get a rebound, then dribble it up the court. That's what he does.
Beautiful.
Grace. Let's say grace for now for Charles.
Yeah, he did get a parade for losing.
Then Phoenix threw a ticker tape parade for losing the series.
They literally gave him. They should have sponsored it with Macy's because it was a fucking parade. 12 miles
in 115 degree heat
right.
for people who lost.
Talking about
how confused were they? The team, they had to be like, wait a second, we're what? Did they see the game? We lost.
These rings say Western Conference.
John Paxson, remember the shot? He put it up and we lost.
You guys didn't see that?
No.
Game 6. It's over.
It's pretty hot out too. We're gonna have a parade. They really want to do that? Why do they want to go outside during a parade?
Right.
Let's have one at the beginning of next year.
You guys want us to finish our parade at the stadium that we lost at? All right, let's go.
Whatever.
I guess you guys
follow behind. So
short memories around here.
Yeah, that's how excited they were about coming close. They had a fucking parade about it. Literally a parade.
Right.
Like the most.
Cardinals didn't get that shit in the Super Bowl, man.
Good. They don't deserve it. So and that 92-93 though, the Phoenix was really It was the only time it's felt like there's a culture here
Right.
since I've ever been coming here.
I think they had the
only time.
All-Star game here too that year.
Possibly, yeah.
And that was a big deal. So that being here, there was just
Yeah.
like a good build to something amazing, and everybody really believed they were going to win.
It was wild. And I remember there was, people's cars were painted with Suns shit. And like their houses, they paint Suns logos on the side, like fucking giant people. It was like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing Suns shit.
Right.
Flags everywhere. It was crazy.
Everything that you bought that was for sale, whether it be a drink or whatever, the fucking Suns logo was on the side of
Basically how Kansas City is with the Chiefs all the time. The Suns, Phoenix was like that with the Suns for one season. They were so popular the next year, if you remember this, their road games were on pay-per-view. Do you remember that?
No.
Pay-per-fucking-view.
To watch a road game.
$9.95 to watch Wednesday night regular season, and people were paying them. People were having watch parties of regular season games.
Watch the Suns play.
Yep.
The magic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wild. This is the not a role model time. This is when he comes out and says that he's not a role model. Obviously, there's a commercial, and in the commercial, it's a Nike commercial. He says, I'm not paid to be a role model, and that's the thing. I'm not a role model, blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, this was controversial.
Right.
This was like, oh, how dare he? And everybody... That was when really that was the thing that made the culture be kind of like this weird thing with Barkley where you either loved him or you hated him but all he was saying was you shouldn't count on me to pay attention to your fucking kids,
right.
which is a really good thing to say.
The thing he was saying, not necessarily was don't blame me when your kid fucks up. When I fuck up, don't act like it's such a big deal. I'm human.
Well, yes, exactly. He says that later on, he says he was misunderstood. He says it's acceptable to use athletes as secondary role models, but that shouldn't be your role model. Right. He said, quote, parents should point out some of the positive things in athletes' lives but that shouldn't be the only thing. Parents have to do a better job of leading their kids. Making athletes the main role model sends that message, especially to black kids, that the only way they can make it is in athletics. It makes me shudder when people tell kids they can be anything they want. Well, they can't be Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley or Barry Bonds. There's only one of those.
That's a great point.
So, yeah, it is true. Yeah, be realistic, too, at the same time.
Right.
Now, they're actually, during this time, they did a big study based on this to see actually what role athletes did play as role models for kids, and they found out not much.
No,
way blown out of proportion. Big deal. He was 100% right. Don't make it too big of a deal. They said, quote, as role models, athletes have a negligible effect on most kids. They said a role model is someone you learn roles from, what mothers do, what fathers do, what students do. It's a formal kind of set of rules that they're learning. Athletes and musicians are more like heroes to kids.
There you go.
Not role models. That's different. You can look at them like He-Man, but you can't look at them like fucking your English teacher. That's not the same thing.
And the thing is, you can meet your role models. You don't meet your heroes.
Exactly. You should know your role models, but not your heroes. That's the exact point. So 93-94 Phoenix Suns, 56-26 that year. They sweep the Warriors in the first round of the playoffs and then lose in 7 to the Rockets in the Western Conference semifinals. That was a rough series, too, in 7.
It's a good Rockets team, though.
That was great. They went on to win the finals that year. They were nasty that year, man.
So many good players.
Tough. So, that year, what was that, 93-94, the Suns, he is 21.6 points, 11.2 rebounds, 4.6 assists. So he's gotten his assists up a lot. In Phoenix, because they keyed in on him so much here, he really turned into a pretty goddamn good passer.
Yeah, and then
he's always decent, but he started...
And then they lob Marley or Ainge out there at the three-point line, and if he goes inside and 2 people come to him, he kicks it out to them, and he got a 3.
Drop it down to him for the post. If they collapse on him, he'd kick it out, and you get a three-pointer. That was the deal. So, that year, he's an all-star. He makes $3.25 million that year. Not too bad. And this is when his gambling starts coming to the surface. Right. Charles, if you're not aware, is an absolutely legendary gambler, like of epic proportions.
It borders on degenerate. Apart from the fact that he's got money.
No, he gambles like any old mobster that writes a book and talks about John Gotti back in the day says that he was the biggest degenerate gambler on fucking earth. He's the worst gambler. He's
bad at it.
Terrible at it. Like the fucking worst.
Yeah.
They said the guy that Jimmie Burke was his name, the guy that Robert De Niro plays in Goodfellas. tell is that a real guy was like a fucking whiz, and he was great at cards, and he used to just fucking clean John Gotti out constantly, and Gotti would have to, then he would fucking borrow from this, so he was always into like all these loan sharks, but he was John Gotti, so you gave him some extra time. That's what Charles Barkley is, kind of thing.
Except he can fucking pay it.
Except he can always pay it. That's the difference. So he says that it's not about the amount he loses. It has less to do with the amount of gambling that he does and more about the way he gambles. Okay. This is when he talks about this. And he'll talk about his gambling a lot over the course of this, but this is kind of the beginning. He says that, for a while he'll say he'll take a break from casinos for a little while. But he explained that he's an aggressive gambler who always had the goal of winning $1 million whenever he went into the casino. Mm-hmm. So if that's your goal, if your goal is to have fun, you're going to be fine.
Right.
If your goal is I'm going to win $1 million,
clean these fuckers out
in a game that's completely rigged against me, you're out of your fucking mind. Yeah. Like that's a sickness. That's a sickness.
Yeah.
That's like saying I'm going to smoke crack and then go to sleep. Like, no, you're not. I know you want to go to sleep and you want to smoke crack, but those two things don't go together. Yeah. And neither does this. So
I'm going to drink whiskey and fuck all night. No, you're not.
All night. A lot of whiskey, whole bottle. So that's his goal, $1 million. He also says that over the years, he estimates that gambling has cost him around $20 to $30 million.
And I believe it.
With a fucking M.
Yeah.
That is insane. So let's let Charles tell everyone.
And Charles only made $3 million
about his
last
gambling.
Year.
It's $3 million. Yeah, that's the thing. Endorsements, though, he makes way more than that.
But he's losing $30 million over his life.
Yeah, his almost his whole basketball salary he has gambled.
Just gone.
Everything is in endorsements. So let's see what he says about gambling. Let's give Chuckster the say of it in their own words. Quote, "It got out of hand, but I quit for 2 years, and I remember talking to my friends who said, gambling is not your problem, you're just an idiot. We've sat on a table with you, and you were up $300, $400, $500, $600,000, and they said, let's quit. I developed this thing where I have to win $1 million. I've won $1 million probably 4 or 5 times in a single day. I've lost a lot more millions in a single day. I've lost $1 million at least 10 to 15, somewhere in there. In a day. I probably only won $1 million 5 or 6 times, but I've lost somewhere between 10 and 20. I can't get an exact number because we're going back to the 80s. Wow.
That's unbelievable.
That's like,
it's sick, man.
It's the same quote as when somebody says, I couldn't help it. I'd get up and I'd smoke crack, and then I'd go out and look for heroin, and then I'd jam it in my fucking arm, and I was sleeping on a fucking curb by the end of the night. That's exactly
so much money.
Yeah. Well, what did we just do where they said like they got so fucked up they just were like laying they didn't even care. They were just laying in a ditch somewhere, and that's what this is like.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy, man. So wild. 94, 95. The Suns are still good, 59 and 23. They were good for the whole time he was here. They sweep the Trailblazers in the first round, again losing 7 to the Rockets.
Ouch.
Again, the fucking Rockets. God damn those fucking Rockets. That was annoying. So he's an all-star, makes $4,030,000, and lost probably 8 in gambling. When they legalized like casino gambling in the Phoenix area, that must have been like, oh, well.
Well, there was a time, too, that the casino here, it was in the press, I believe, gave him credit at the fucking casino, and he owed him like $800,000.
Oh, yeah, he's done that a couple of times to talk about. That's coming up. 95, 96, the Suns are mediocre here. And this, as we know, this is when he gets off the ride.
Yeah.
When the ride starts to slow down, he hops off before it stops completely.
He's got some things to talk about.
Yeah. 41 and 41 they go this year. And this is when Paul Westphal got fired, and they brought Cotton Fitzsimmons in for a while.
Cotton followed Westphal?
Yeah, for the end, just for an interim until the end of the season. He went 27.
Oh, he
22.
was the assistant. That's right.
Yeah. So they go to the playoffs, but they lose in the first round of the Spurs. And he's an all-star, though, $4,760,000.
Yeah.
And he's got the Dream Team 2 coming up here that summer as well. The second Dream Team, pretty fucking good, too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first one had all those legendary, Magic and Bird and those guys. But Charles Barkley, Penny Hardaway, who at the time was about as good as you're getting he was amazing before he was injured. He was fast. He could shoot. He could dunk. He was taller than you. He was quicker than you. He was just nasty.
Was he 6'6"?
He's 6'7".
Wow.
6'7" fucking point guard.
That's unbelievable.
And quick as shit, too. Yeah, he was wild. Really good. Grant Hill,
Yeah.
Karl Malone, Reggie Miller, whose money is shit.
Yeah.
Akeem Olajuwon, Shaq.
Oh,
Shaq
boy.
and Akeem are your centers, dude. Jesus.
Your fresh legs is still better than everybody in your country.
Wow. Just put them out there. Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen, Mitch Richmond, David Robinson, John Stockton.
Unbelievable.
That is a squad, man. I'm telling. And Malone and Barkley are the two old elder statesmen there, and Stockton. They're all about the same age. So not a bad squad. Now, Gary Payton was actually a late replacement for Glenn Robinson, who was injured, who was another one of ours. Yep. Now, before the Olympics get started, he almost didn't get to the Olympics because July 6th, 1996, he's at a bar called The Basement in Cleveland, which bad things are going to happen.
Mhm.
It's late. It's in Cleveland, first of all. So
It's something called The Basement in Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's somewhere you don't want to be.
No, it's I guess a bunch of bars in the area. And apparently he'd been in town for the U.S. men's basketball Dream Team's exhibition game against Brazil, warm-up game against Brazil. This guy here, Tyler is his last name, he apparently came up and he said he and a friend introduced themselves to Barkley and Reggie Miller and a woman who was with the players at the bar. This guy said that Barkley asked them what they were talking about and then told Tyler and his friend they had to leave. I guess this Tyler guy said that he refused to leave and said that Barkley should leave instead. So Tyler said, quote, "As soon as I said that, he punched me in the nose."
Yeah.
That's his game. He's 6 foot, 180 pounds, this Tyler guy here. And he said, then he goes on to say that both he and Barkley landed a few punches each.
Okay.
I doubt that.
I don't believe
I don't believe you. I think he hit you in the nose. You grabbed your face, and then he hit you a few more times, and then people broke it up. He had some bumps on his head and a mark on his forehead, and Barkley had nothing. He was unscathed completely. Now, Barkley ends up filing a complaint asking, he complained at saying that Tyler asked the woman if she planned to have sex with Charles and Reggie Miller. So you're going to fuck both these guys? That's what Charles says.
Okay.
And apparently Barkley told the guy to leave. And from what witnesses said, this Tyler guy charged at him. And Tyler said he didn't have that conversation. And he said that he heard a friend ask the woman if she was, quote, with the players, but he didn't say, "Are you fucking multiple players tonight?" So after this, Barkley said, "I don't know what's going to happen with it. I know my security guards say he hit me. I filed a complaint against him. You just get sick of people trying to sue you and make money, but I'm never going to settle." And Tyler is accused of assault, and Barkley said that he used bodily force against him. They both had different versions, and in the end, it turns out that they basically ask the other guy if he wants to press charges against Barkley.
Yeah.
That's how it turns out. Because apparently the other guy made no physical motions. He could say whatever he want, but Barkley started hitting the guy. So apparently you're not allowed to do that. Seems like.
Yeah.
So apparently this guy said that he wasn't sure, Jeb Taylor is his name, wasn't positive that he wanted to press charges though. Wasn't positive about it. This Tyler said he had to go to Cleveland to meet with prosecutors and all that, and he says, quote, "I really don't want to see Charles Barkley get arrested and detained for this. He would have to come back for Cleveland and get arraigned in 2 weeks. He'd miss the Olympics." So he says, "I don't want the U.S. Olympic team to suffer.
Right.
Literally, I want to watch the Dream Team so I can't press charges." That's what he said.
You know what? Somebody in his family said if they lose because Charles Barkley isn't
everyone's
there,
going to be pissed at you.
You'll have the whole country hating you.
That's not good. They all want to see the Dream Team. But he does sue. He doesn't press, but he sues.
Okay.
He sues for $50,000 here, saying that Barkley punched him. Team goes 8-0, wins a gold medal, fucking obviously, because listen to what the final 12 are on the standings. U.S., former Yugoslavia, Lithuania, Australia, Greece, Brazil, Croatia, China, Argentina, Puerto Rico, Angola, South Korea.
That's who they dunked on.
Yeah, Shaq and Olajuwon were dunking on 0-7 South Korea, because that's what they were, 0-7. For not to be racist, but for obvious reasons. It's just not. I mean, they're not
dunking on 12 people that look like Kim Jong-un.
There's just not. They're not. I get that. There's obviously they're not a bunch of fucking 5'4" people on the basketball team. I understand that, but
I'm sure there's not a lot of 7-footers there either.
I don't think there's a lot of Shaqs there. Is my point, and that's not against South Korea. That's against everybody.
Right.
He's a fucking anomaly of the universe.
If you've got 7-footers, they don't look like Shaq. They look more like Yao Ming or skinnier.
Yeah, they look exactly look like Akeem Olajuwon.
Right.
There you go. Now, this is the year Space Jam comes out. He plays himself in Space Jam, obviously, which kind of cements him as a mainstream star.
Yep.
And he'll pop up in cameos. I'm not going to go through them, but he pops up in cameos all over the place, Charles Barkley. Oh, throughout the 90s.
Yeah, he was
early
in Hot
2000s.
Shots.
He's in a bunch of stuff. He'll just pop up for a minute.
Lane Beer punching each other in a bar for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's like what Ron Jeremy was 10 years later. He would just pop up in movies.
You're like, oh, is that weird guy?
Yeah, is it that weird guy who fucks everybody? Yeah.
Apparently against their will.
I was going to say possibly against their will that we know now. Maybe. So August 19th, 1996, he's traded by the Suns for a 1999 second-round draft pick to the Rockets for Chucky Brown. He's traded with the draft pick for Chucky Brown, Mark Bryant, Sam Cassell, and Robert Horry.
Oh, no.
Quite the crew there.
And apart from Robert Horry's got like fucking 12 rings.
Cassell was a fucking money player, too. Cassell was great.
Fast and
He was
three-point shooter.
Fucking clutch as shit, too. He was nasty. He was a guy that, like, championships just followed that guy.
What a face.
Oh,
boy, was he good.
Yeah, he looked like you were choking him to death. He was about to go. That's what it looked like. You were squeezing his neck real hard.
He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger that got tossed out in Total Recall.
Yeah, almost. Right there. Right there. Okay. So this is career period number 4, the Houston period. This is the last 4 years. Again, the Suns superstar mainstream goes to Houston, becomes fat old player.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He becomes like fat old guy that doesn't jump anymore. Like overnight, it was weird. Second, he put those weird Houston stripes on they had in the 90s. He couldn't jump anymore.
That ugly mustard and red.
That was it.
It was
Done.
all
over with. Don't know why. So this team was Barkley, Matt Bullard, Clyde Drexler, Mario Elie, Othello Harrington, the other Eddie Johnson, not our Eddie Johnson,
the good one.
Poor Eddie Johnson.
The one who Skip Bayless ruined his career.
And when bad Eddie Johnson just died recently, thank God, when he died, they still showed.
Stop it.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
Poor fucking guy.
Oh, people tweeted it at me, the fucking picture of the story. Eddie Johnson
with
died,
his face on it.
It's fucking good Eddie Johnson playing. And I'm like, that's not him. Do 2 Google searches, not just one. Go, is that the guy? Did he? Check.
Poor bastard.
Because the picture they showed, by the time that picture was taken, the other Eddie Johnson was already in prison for life. So that's not him. Just check on it. So, yeah, Randy Livingston, Sam Mack, Akeem Olajuwon, Sadal Threet, Kevin Willis, a lot of guys.
Still a good team.
Oh, a real good team. Yeah, they were 57-25, as a matter of fact. They they win in the first round against the Timberwolves, 7-game series against the Sonics, and then the Western Conference Finals, they lose to the Jazz, who were really coming on strong at that point.
And they played the Bulls and lost.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Chuckster here, 19.2 points a game in his first season in Houston, but 13.5 rebounds.
Oh.
Over the next 3, he'll never get above 20 points a game again, and he'll go down to 14.5 by his last season, but still 10.5 rebounds a game somehow. So he never has a season under 10 rebounds a game, except for his first season when he was a rookie. When he was a rookie, and that because he wasn't playing that much. Yeah, he averages for his career 11.7 a game. Which is pretty impressive. And he's an all-star this year still, though. This is his last year as an all-star as well. He's getting in on reputation of being Charles Barkley.
Right.
By the next year, they're like, nope, he's too fat. So makes $4,695,000 this year. 97-98. Now, October 26, 1997, he is at Phineas Fogg's in both with PHs in Church Street Station in Orlando.
Oh, boy.
At 2 a.m.
Oh, no.
Okay. When I give you a name of a bar and a time in a city, what does that mean?
Yeah, there's trouble.
Here comes listen for the sirens.
Right.
So apparently everything broke out about 2 a.m. When Barkley chased a man that people say threw a glass at a woman who was sitting at Barkley's table. This is when Barkley picked this man up, Jorge Lugo is his name, and threw him through a plate glass window.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I picked him up off the ground and literally, like a fucking old cowboy movie, threw the man through a plate glass window.
You don't throw anybody at glass expecting the glass to stop them.
No, you throw
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and plate glass, you could have killed the guy.
Yeah.
Like, that could have killed him. That's dangerous. They could have guillotined him.
It doesn't shatter.
No, it could have stabbed him.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother, her friend when I was a kid, her son died. He was like 4 years old. He went through a plate glass window.
Your brother?
No. My mother's friend's son.
Okay.
When I was a kid, we were like almost the same age.
I was like, you never told me that you lost a brother to a plate glass window.
No, we were like 5, I think, and this kid went through the window, and he got a couple scrapes like on his hand. It was a plate glass window, but they thought that he was fine, but they took him to the hospital anyway because they're like, let's just get him checked out, make sure there's no glass stuck in his hands and
Internal
stuff.
bleeding?
And turns out a tiny, tiny little shard of glass went into his chest and punctured his heart.
Oh, my God.
And he thought he was fine. They was like, oh, yeah, you're fine. He died on the way to the hospital. Didn't even make it there. He just died. They just looked back and he was dead. And that's why a little piece of glass went in his heart from the plate glass. It's
fuck.
So it happens, man. Plate glass is dangerous.
It is.
That's why they don't fucking use it anymore.
That's why
There's a
it's
reason.
outlawed.
Yeah, it's a reason why. It's fucking a weapon.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is scary shit.
Your house is strapped.
It's no shit. You don't need a gun. Just throw someone through your window. You're done. So apparently Barkley arrived at the bar between 11 and 11:30. An off-duty officer was working there, and he said that Barkley had been relaxing and signing autographs and all that sort of shit. They said this guy also said that he saw Barkley trying to avoid a confrontation at one point. He said he was sitting at a table. It was Barkley, Clyde Drexler, and a couple others. Yeah. And apparently Lugo came up, this guy, and started shouting and cursing. Yeah. And I guess Barkley ignored this person, just ignored him. And so the somebody started to confront this man, and Barkley told them to just ignore him. He'll go away. Yeah. He's used to this shit. People talk shit to him all the time. He said, this woman said, quote, Charles grabbed me. He said, leave it alone. They're just trying to cause problems. But so the guy ended up going away, but then he came back and he threw a glass and hit this woman in the jaw.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, with the glass, knocking her off her chair, and Barkley got pissed off at that, obviously.
That's my moneymaker.
Then he took off, and this woman said that she watched Charles Barkley chase outside after this fucking guy. So apparently that once he got outside, the cops were there, and they put him in cuffs. So this woman says he was fine. They started putting him in cuffs. He gave them his wrists. He respected the officers. So apparently, he said, they said all of a sudden, this is what this guy says, all of a sudden he finds himself being chased and hunted and literally picked up and thrown through a window like a sack of potatoes. He is 5'2", 110 pounds.
Oh, Jesus.
He's a tiny man.
Why is this kid starting fights?
That's what I mean. Now,
you dummy.
This guy's lawyer said he did not throw the ice or the glass. It's not to say somebody didn't, but it wasn't him.
Okay.
That's what he says. The police report says 5 witnesses, including a bar employee, said they saw Lugo throw the glass at Barkley and hit a woman in the face instead, because he's a shit athlete apparently.
Right, because he's 5'2".
Yeah, he just couldn't make it. Hopefully his parents didn't tell him he could be Michael Jordan.
Right.
So they said that this wasn't like an alcohol related thing, but an off-duty officer said the off-duty officer was outside, said they spotted Lugo running toward the front with Barkley in pursuit. The officer grabbed Lugo with Barkley tugging at his arm. The officer said he told Barkley, Charles, I'll handle this. Let go. Charles, let me take care of this. And Barkley responded, I will not hurt him. I just want to talk to him. So the officer turned and radioed for assistance. So he took an arm off him. Barkley yanked him out of the officer's hand, picked him up, and threw him through a fucking window right in front of the cop.
Oh, my God.
That is crazy.
That's not talking, Charles.
Or, as the police officer puts it, talking about Lugo, quote, I looked up and saw the arrestee holding the victim up in the air by his arms, at which time the arrestee threw the victim at a plate glass window. He just fucking picked him up and tossed his ass through a window.
That's awesome.
After Lugo went through the window, the cop said, quote, I grabbed the arrestee and pulled him away from the victim, who had slumped to the ground and was bleeding from a laceration in his right arm. Barkley taunted him, the report said. The first time Barkley told him, quote, you got what you deserve. You don't respect me. I hope you're hurt. That's what he said. And then he walked away, but then came back to Lugo to yell at him again, quote, for all I care, you can lay there and die.
You don't get to say that.
Oh, God. Yo, he did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he said, fuck that shit. He said he was pissed off, and he said, quote, I'm not going to worry about the charges. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. Doesn't give a fuck. Oh, that's amazing. I hope you're hurt. And right next to it, I'm not going to do a whole the sales, Jimmy, but right next to this article is a hilarious Oriental...
You can't put that in the
Oriental massage spa
in an article about Charles Barkley
in Elkhart, Indiana, open from 9 to midnight. In case you really need that late night massage, you're working real late.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Oriental
massage. So Barkley, after the whole thing, tells reporters, "I'm always a target, but I'll never back down. The public does not have a right to do things to you. If you bother me, I'm going to whip your ass."
I believe you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The guy threw ice in my face, and I slammed his ass into a window. I'm not denying that. I defended myself. He got what he deserved. You can't rip a man from police custody.
Yeah.
Once he's in you can either fuck him up or the cops take him, but you can't take him away from the cops to fuck him up, because then you're arrested. That's not smart.
You're a village with pitchforks and fucking knives at that point. You can't do that.
Can't do that. He said, "What they said happened." What he did was inappropriate. I'm going to defend myself. Let there be no debate. That's a myth. Let there be no debate.
He'd do it again.
Yep. He got released on $6,000 bail after Clyde Drexler bailed him out, which is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
He's charged with aggravated battery and resisting arrest without violence. Aggravated battery is a felony.
Yeah.
That's no joke. He's up for prison time for this shit. Wow. So Charles Barkley or Clyde Drexler said it's very unfortunate that it happened. He was certainly provoked. So there's that. He was there. He provoked him.
He's up for a felony talking about, I did it.
What happened, motherfucker.
That is scary.
Now, he reaches an out-of-court settlement with the man who drops criminal charges against him.
Right.
But he says that basically the lawyer for the other man says there's been an amicable resolution of the civil case. Basically, my client signed a declination of prosecution, not prostitution, which is what I was going to say. He's decided he doesn't want to be a prostitute.
He has
Very
declined.
Good. Yeah, Julio Lugo doesn't want to be a prostitute.
He
was
drafted.
Jorge Lugo.
He refuses.
Julio Lugo's the other wife beater shortstop. So
hilarious.
Yeah, they said that he signed the agreement. Orlando police recommended that Lugo should be charged with battery also, and that's how that worked. But Barkley is still charged with with the resisting arrest thing, because you can't rip a man. That's not up to him anymore whether he wants to press charges. At that point, the cops are mad at you.
Yeah.
He was ours is not something they want to say often. So later in court, he is fined and ordered to make community service visits to 2 children's programs and to settle the charges here. The judge says to him, "Your sanctions are community service and a fine. Do you have any regrets?" Charles says, quote, "Yeah, I regret we weren't on a higher floor."
I wish he went out off a balcony.
I wish I would have thrown him multiple stories to the sidewalk rather than through a first floor. That
Charles.
was his. That's Charles. To a judge in court. Right. He doesn't give a fuck. Right. That's what I mean. He doesn't say this shit and then in court, we'll be all humble. He gets in there. Wish we were on a higher floor, Your Honor. I don't
wish
give a fuck.
It was a balcony.
Okay.
10 up.
10 up. So 97-98 Rockets, 41-41. They lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Jazz, who will go on to lose to the Bulls. $2,250,000 for Chuckster that year. July 1998.
Is he an underpaid athlete?
He is underpaid.
Okay.
In his prime.
That feels underpaid as fuck.
In his prime, he was way underpaid. Yeah. In his prime, Michael Jordan was making $30 million a year, and Charles Barkley was making $3 million.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I don't know why.
When he's the other face.
Yeah. I know he got bonuses too, but still, it's not.
That's way underpaid.
Yeah, I know he made a shitload from endorsements. I'm not saying he didn't make the money, but in basketball,
Pippen probably paid more, right?
Oh, Pippen made more than twice as much as Charles Barkley.
Unbelievable.
And he was a good player, but he wasn't
Charles Barkley.
He wasn't a Barkley level superstar. He just wasn't. July 1998, he's being sued by a woman. Filed a $3 million lawsuit against him, accusing him of throwing her against a restaurant wall last year after she complained he was smoking in a non-smoking area.
Okay.
So
he does love cigars.
He does.
Yeah.
Anna Adams said she also complained that the Rockets that he was taking chairs from the table he was sitting at with her husband and guests away from her table at Regine's restaurant in Houston. He claims that he grabbed her. She claims he grabbed her and threw her against a wall when she attempted to leave, causing severe bruising on her neck and shoulders. She said her husband tried to come to her aid, and he was also assaulted. Of course he was. I mean, he's not going to not be. What do you think's going to happen? Their lawyer says that she had to be treated the following day for injuries, and said, quote, "We just wanted to make sure we had everything thorough before we filed. That's why it took so long. And based on all the interviews, we believe the incident actually occurred. It will be up to a jury of 12 citizens to tell Charles Barkley he can't beat up women." Charles Barkley says, quote, "I don't know anything about the lawsuit and I don't care." End quote. So, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Next question. All righty.
I will push successful Houston business people out of my way.
Don't give a shit.
To get chairs to smoke in.
My chair to smoke in where I can't smoke. 98-99 season. This was the strike shortened season.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rockets are 31-19, which is pretty good. They lose to the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs. Charles makes what I believe was a veteran minimum deal here of $1 million this year.
Wow.
Which is weird, man. That's so
that
strange.
Is weak.
That's weak, yeah. I mean, he only was 16.1 points and 12.3 rebounds a game. That's worth more than $1 million.
Yeah.
The guy goes 16 and 12 now. They'll say he's a fucking monster superstar.
Yeah.
He'll be one of the biggest stars in the league. And that was Chuck, fat
fucking
and old and fucking off and smoking in restaurants, being way more worried about where the cigar smoking section was.
Right.
This year they go 34 and 48. Not a good year for the Rockets, and as we know, Chuck gets off the train when it starts to slow down here. This is Chuck's last season. He makes $9 million this season.
There you go.
I don't know if that was a balloon at the end, if he made it that far.
Backloaded deal.
Yeah, 14.5 points that year, 10.5 rebounds. Total for his career, 22.1 points and 11.7 rebounds a game, 3.9 assists, 1.5 steals, which is a lot for a power forward, as we'll talk about. Even 0.8 blocks. The average is almost a block a game his whole career. Total career earnings, Scottie Pippen made, I think, $107 million or something. $43,608,000.
That's fucked up.
That's obscene.
That's crazy.
Jordan made that in a year and a half in the 90s. That's
granted,
ridiculous.
It's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot of money, but compared to what other people were getting, that is not. They were saying Scottie Pippen was a super underpaid player back then. What about fucking Chuckster? Jesus.
And Charles Barkley pissed away $20 to $30 million in gambling.
So
only made 40 in his career.
Imagine
minus 10% for agents, minus taxes,
minus a third for taxes.
He gave all of his salary away and more.
Every dime of it. He played just to gamble, and then his endorsements have funded the rest of his lifestyle.
You imagine?
When he retires, he's the second all-time, and he is still now, the second all-time leader in steals for the power forward position. Mm-hmm. All time.
Behind who?
I don't know that one, but I'll get to other one that I do know.
Okay.
And leader of the highest all-time steal per game average for the power forward position.
Really?
He has the most steals per game. The other guy played for like 20 years, I believe. But he has the most steals per game of anybody in the power forward position of all time. He is also the all-time NBA leader in rebounding for anyone listed at 6'6" or under.
Still.
And he's not 6'6". Again, he's 6'4", and he's the most.
Yeah.
There, I think Elgin Baylor was second in that list, who was like 6'5".
Could it have been Sean Kemp with the steals?
I don't think so. No. He didn't play defense.
Well,
you can't.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You can't steal. You can't be running down the end for a fucking hoop if you're stealing. Let Peyton steal. That's his job.
Yeah, that's his job.
So right away he gets a job with TNT.
Yeah.
That was like immediately, and that's where we see him now always. He writes another book in 2000. He doesn't write a book. He wrote the foreword for Rick Riley's book, who's a Sports Illustrated columnist. It's called The Life of Riley, and he said, quote, this is Barkley's quote on the inside, "Of all the people in sports I'd like to throw through a plate glass window, Riley's not one of them. It's a shame though, skinny white boys look real aerodynamic." That's funny.
Did he write that for Rick Riley thinking it was Pat? And then he's who the fuck's Rick?
Who the fuck's Rick Riley again? Oh, I don't know him. Fuck. Shit. All right. I'm sure he's skinny and white anyway. So March 2001, his jersey is officially retired by Auburn University. And the next week, the Philadelphia 76ers also officially retire Charles Barkley's jersey as well.
Really?
Yep, number 34. Gone in both of them.
How about that?
2002, he's got another book out. He wrote with it was edited in commentary, I guess. It was a book he wrote with Michael Wilbon, who was the guy on Pardon the Interruption.
Yeah.
That guy, he's the Chicago guy. He wrote a book with him called I May Be Wrong, But I Doubt It. which makes sense for Charles.
Yeah.
2004, the Phoenix Suns put him in the Suns Ring of Honor as well. So 34 is retired here too. Houston, though, no.
They don't give a shit.
Well, he wasn't 34 in Houston even, so it's not like
What
it's
was he
Barkley.
there?
4, I think.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, it was his
you're
Olympic.
right.
It was his Olympic. Or wasn't he 13 in the Olympics?
8? What was it? Wow.
The fuck was he in the Olympics? Jordan was 8 in the Olympics, I thought, or was he 9?
You might be right there too.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
So 2005, that made no sense, any of the numbers. He writes another book. Guy is like a fucking. How many books are you pumping out? What else do you have to say?
He never shuts up. He was number 4 in the Olympics.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was number 4. So that's where he was with Houston also, number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. So anyway, this book is called Who's Afraid of a Large Black Man, which is a great title. And it's a collection of interviews with entertainment, business, sports people, basically. So it's kind of one of those type of things. And Michael Wilbon, again, was contributing to that book.
Okay.
2006, he is elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Took him that long,
Yeah, it's 5 years after you retired.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
So 2006 class, it's him, a coach named Gino Orarema. Jesus, I don't know who the hell that is. That's old time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so old, he's Italian. How many Italians in basketball? You know what I'm saying?
And not even hiding it.
Yeah.
Gino.
Yeah, he didn't even change his name. Chuckster Joe Dumars goes in with him, as well as a coach named Sandro Gamba, Dave Gavitt, who's an executive, and Dominique Wilkins also going in. So Dumars, Barkley, and Wilkins.
That's awesome.
It's quite the little squad. It's quite the 3-on-3 there.
Yeah.
Now, 2007, during a broadcast of a game, he's sitting at courtside with Marv Albert, and Dick Bavetta is one of the refs.
Yeah.
Dick Bavetta is like 114 years old at this point. Hey, this is like 80, but this, at the time, he's 67, and he looked 100. Dick Bavetta is one of those guys. He's in great shape.
Yeah.
He runs backwards as fast as 23-year-old athletes run forwards. I mean, he's amazing, but still, he's old. So apparently, at the time, Marv Albert said to Barkley, quote, "I believe Dick would beat you in a foot race on TV." So in response to that, Barkley challenged him to a foot race, and at the 2007 All-Star Weekend for $5,000. Let's bet on it.
Gambling involved.
Of course, I can't get into it if it's not gambling. The winner was to choose the charity which the money would be donated. The NBA agreed to pitch in an additional $50,000, and TNT threw in $25,000.
Holy shit.
Big charity thing. They raced for 3.5 lengths of the basketball court, and Barkley eventually won.
Okay.
So I hope you beat a nearly 70-year-old man.
And also, he probably said, "We're going to keep running until you quit, and then
Basically,
I win."
I'm still going.
Right.
I'll catch up.
I can still run.
And then they kissed. So they did. It was good.
Of course.
May of 2008, he's got a tiny gambling debt.
Yeah.
Just a teensy one. The Wynn Casino there in Las Vegas. They filed paperwork against him to get him to pay back $400,000 in gambling markers.
Jesus Christ.
They extended to him. Yeah, they persuaded the Clarks County District Attorney's bad check unit to open a criminal investigation. Wow. And they do that. They investigate gambling debts in the same manner as bad checks in Vegas. So the district attorney said Barkley will be notified of the investigation and given an opportunity to make restitution to avoid being charged with a felony. Jeez. So you can either pay them back or be arrested and charged with a felony is his option. He says, quote, "We prosecute cases like this every day. Mr. Barkley will be treated the same as everybody else." I guess in the 4-page lawsuit, they said they had extended 4 $100,000 markers to Barkley, 2 each on October 18th and 19th, and those are the ones he didn't pay back. They said
a $400,000 loss weekend.
Not even his money.
No.
Other people. By taking $400,000 in credit and refusing to pay the amount despite repeated attempts, Barkley has wrongfully exercised dominion and control over Wynn's property. Oh, my. The suit, $400,000 there.
Fuck, for a weekend, Jay.
So, later in the month, he comes out and says he's paid his $400,000 gambling debt. They said the civil lawsuit remains open, but $400,000 is... He paid it back. There's that. He said, quote, "True to my word, I sent a $400,000 cashier's check overnight to Wynn Las Vegas, which they confirmed they received. I was unaware of the additional 10% processing fee from the district attorney's office and will make restitution on that promptly," because they said he owes another $40,000. as a fee for the DA.
God
They're
damn
getting
it.
a cut.
Yeah.
He's just wetting his beak.
Right.
That's like what you'd give a mob boss. Like, that's his fucking taste.
Or your agent.
Kick 10% upstairs. Yeah, that's what it is, man. Wow. Spokeswoman for the casino said it did receive the check and it was sent it to the district attorney to tell them as well. They did say that they had a civil complaint going against him. They did say, quote, "We've been paid in full." So look at that. We've been in contact. We expect a $40,000 check within the next few days for the other thing. Barkley says, "I screwed up and I didn't pay them in a significant amount of time. Could they have handled it differently? Yes, but it was my fault."
Okay.
He's like, you couldn't have, you didn't have to put it on TV.
Right. You didn't have to call the AP.
Yeah, I mean, fucking UPI didn't need to run it, but I get it. So
got Harvey Levin on TV at 5 p.m. talking about I'm broke. Fuck you.
I'm not broke. I'm just an exorbitant spender. So his statement on gambling here is, quote, "I like to go into Vegas. It's a fun place. But you know what? I've got to stop gambling. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to gamble anymore. For right now, the next year or two, I'm not going to gamble." So he starts with, "I'm done for right now. Next year or two." If I can get through the month, it's good.
Depends on who's in the Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest with you.
You never know.
I don't know what the points are.
He says, "I have no money problems whatsoever. Nobody's coming after me for money. I screwed up and didn't pay them in the right amount of time. That's all. It's not because I didn't have the money. I just I'm too lazy to pay them. I just didn't feel like it." So he says, just because I can afford to lose money doesn't mean I should do it. So maybe he should stop gambling, he said. October 2008, he tells CNN that he plans to run for governor of Alabama in 2014. Mm-hmm. He said, quote, "I can't screw up Alabama. We're number 48 and everything." And this is great. This is a great quote.
It's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
"Can't screw up Alabama. We're number 48 and everything. And Arkansas and Mississippi aren't going anywhere." So he's like, "Can't fuck it up worse than it is."
They're so far behind with Alabama. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I mean, have you been to Arkansas? Shit. So, December 31st, 2008, he's in Old Town Scottsdale, which is in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you don't know, it is
the rich part of Phoenix.
Scottsdale's the rich Phoenix suburb, and Old Town Scottsdale is where these people go to give each other venereal diseases.
Right.
And drink in close quarters and douchey bars.
They try to call themselves the most Old West city in America, and it's because the diseases there are cured by penicillin.
Yeah, because syphilis still runs rampant. That's the only reason why it's the most Old West city.
It's because you could probably still catch polio.
Rampant polio. So he was partying with Michael Strahan and Jaleel White.
Right.
So
what a fucking threesome.
He's hanging out with Urkel and Michael Strahan, which is a really weird
The guy from the
trio.
Today Show and the guy from
and Urkel. Just Urkel.
From Family Matters.
So
hilarious.
He was hanging out with them, and he took off from them, left them at the bar, and he was stopped by a police officer. This was a Gilbert police officer who was working with a DUI task force in Scottsdale, where a bunch of the cities have their own deal there. There's so many drunks there. They're like, we'll bring them in from other places because we don't have enough people for this.
We're important fucking drunks here.
Yeah. This is at 1:27 a.m. Again, not good. It's at 6th Avenue and 75th Street, which I know you know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
He apparently rolled through the stop sign right there.
You know where that is?
I know exactly where that is.
Right there next to fucking State of Scottsdale.
Yep. It's the one, it's the road you fucking go in. That's why he ran that stop sign, probably to just turn right back on to fucking
Scottsdale Road.
Scottsdale Road there, yeah. Or no, onto
Drinkwater. Is that Drinkwater?
No, I'm talking the east-west.
Oh.
Shea. Whatever.
Camelback.
Yeah.
What
did I say? Shea.
It's Camelback. It's right
anyway,
there.
Yeah, Camelback. Why did I say Shea?
Might be Indian school.
It might be Indian school down there, but whatever. It's
Either
that right there. That's the one he ran through. So this guy said they pulled him over after he ran it, and this is fucking awesome. It's a 2005 Infiniti. He realized it's Charles Barkley.
He's driving that?
2005 Infiniti for some reason. Who knows?
Right.
He gambled away his other car. I don't know. They said Mr. Barkley was administered the standard field sobriety tests after the odor of intoxicating liquor was detected. They pulled him over. He was, they said, bloodshot, watery eyes, smell of alcohol, fucking drunk.
Yeah.
The officer said, quote, I asked if he had been drinking, and he said, yes, I have. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's not going to lie to you.
No.
He said, I had a couple of drinks. He told a police officer at that point that, look, I rolled through the stop sign, not because I'm drunk, because I'm not, because I'm fine. I'm just in a hurry because I'm on my way. Here it is. Quote, you want to know the truth? I was going to drive around the corner and get a blowjob. That's what he said.
That's really great.
And that he has had a blowjob from this woman that he's going to go see before, and quote, it was the best one he ever had. So, yeah, he tells the cop, look, I got the best blowjob in the world waiting for me around this corner. So
Can we hurry this up?
You'd roll through the stop sign too, is what I'm getting at. So they were like, yeah, but you're drunk though. Get out of the car. Like the blowjob's fine and all. He wouldn't allow the breathalyzer test at the scene, Charles, though. They wouldn't do that. They said there was able to establish probable cause for his arrest. He was taken to the DUI center there, which as you go, your blood, it's going down and down. And where there, you have to consent to have blood drawn at that point. So he does that, and we'll find out what that was. The cop said he was very cooperative and respectful.
Yeah.
He just wanted his blowjob. That's all. I mean, want a blowjob? You want a blowjob? He's out there looking for one. He was drunk. He told Urkel, I'm going to get me a blowjob, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael Strahan and Urkel, I got to go.
That's how great this blowjob is. He'll stop hanging out with Michael Strahan and Urkel
Tell me that doesn't sound like a Chappelle Show sketch. Sorry, Michael Strahan and Urkel, I got to go get this blowjob. And he gets up and leaves, doesn't it? So just a weird thing that he would come like in a dream sequence or something.
It's unbelievable.
He said that Barkley was given no special treatment. They sent him home at 3 a.m. in a taxi, probably to the blowjob, I would assume, because it was only an hour and a half. Hopefully she's still up. I don't know. So
I don't know, man. There's a difference between 1:30 and 3 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
true. Big difference.
Big difference.
That's a little hour and a half, but those 90 minutes fucking matter.
Yeah. So what did he have in his car when he stopped? Wine coolers and bear claws.
What?
Swear to God. Wine coolers and bear claws.
Bear claws or white claws?
No. Bear claw donuts. Not bear claw, not white claws.
Danish.
He had donuts and wine coolers. Donuts for him, wine coolers for blowjob lady. That's what that's about.
Hilarious.
She said, sure, I'll do it, but you got to bring me some wine coolers. And he's like, cool, I need bear claws anyway.
That was an impulse buy, right?
Oh,
he's got the wine coolers on register, and they're hanging on that little strip, and he's like 3 of these.
Give me all of those. Just clean it out.
Just give me that strip.
Dump them in a fucking bag. So he declined the blood alcohol, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so they did the blood test. Turns out that his blood alcohol, 0.149, which is well over the limit.
Smashed.
And that's by the time he got to the station from Scottsdale. So, yeah, it's higher.
He almost had an extreme.
Almost a double there.
Yeah.
So, almost doubled it up.
Yeah.
Shuckster, doubles are his thing. He's in burgers on the court and everything. He did make a brief statement. He said, quote, I'm disappointed that I put myself in that situation. The Scottsdale police were fantastic. I will not comment any further as it is a legal matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he goes. He's driving away. 3 a.m., probably 3:20, he gets to this chick's house. He's like, still got my bear claws. That's a good thing. Gonna need that.
Standing there with a 6-pack. 4-pack. Let's go with a 4-pack.
It's a 4-pack.
4-pack munching on a bear claw.
Munching on the bear claw, knocks on the door, and he opens, as he knocked on the door, too, he's like, man, something smells good as fuck in there. What is that? I don't know. Is she cooking up? She's cooking me some food and blowing me? This is crazy. Door opens, and it's not the lady at all. It's the shawarma man. He found him at home. This is where he lives.
Yeah.
It's the shawarma man's girlfriend, and he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? 3 a.m. o'clock in the morning, you come to stick dick in... No. I tell you so many times. No, fuck other people. Why you fuck giant? No, you go. We just fixed front window. You get out. You go. You have no time for signs say closed. Front window say fixed. Fuck you. Go. Don't start take coat and shoes off now. No, I get naked too. Sign say closed.
Shawarma man takes his pants off to fight.
He fucks out and fuck around. Poof. And in a poof of shawarma and peppers and things, he's gone. And Chuck he's like, I had more than I thought to drink. Fuck. Whew. So right after that, T-Mobile drops him
as a sponsor.
Before that, that was one of his endorsements.
That's
was
right,
T-Mobile.
because he was doing the family plan thing.
Yep,
Yeah, I
with
remember
Dwayne
that.
Wade.
Uh-huh.
He's doing the family plan for the Fave 5 plan.
That's what it was.
Fave
the Fave 5s. Yeah.
And the whole thing was Dwayne Wade trying to talk Charles Barkley into
making him one of his faves.
Yeah, make me into one of your Fave 5s. Come
then
on,
I can
man.
call you unlimited. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't want to talk to you that much.
I don't talk to you all the time. T-Mobile said, our ad campaign featuring Charles Barkley has been successful in driving awareness of our popular My Faves offering, and he has been a vocal advocate for our products and service. But given the recent developments, for the time being, we've replaced TV ads featuring Mr. Barkley with a more general market advertising.
Right.
As he works through his personal matters, we will evaluate where to go from here.
We heard that his faves are Bear Claws, wine coolers, drinking, and blowjobs.
I wish I could call this episode Bear Claws and Blowjobs, because that would be the fucking best. Can I call it like with an asterisk in there? Can I put Bear Claws and Blow? Can you put blowjobs on iTunes? Will you let me do that? If I put asterisks in it, I'll do. We're going to figure this out.
There are too many sex podcasts for that not to be a thing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'll look it up. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be that, because that's
Bear Claws and blowjobs.
That's amazing.
Like bed knobs and broomsticks.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was thinking of it. Exactly. Totally exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, boy.
So they said that he'll be off the air on TNT for a few weeks as well. He was apologetic, and he told it's important. This is an important time for Charles as he deals with the legal personal issues that confront him. Same thing, basically. Back in a couple months. Don't worry about that. When he gets back on TV, he said, quote, "This is just my bad, no excuses. I think that a DUI is unacceptable. That can't happen, and I got to challenge other people, not just celebrities or jocks. You have to really think before getting behind the wheel after you've been drinking." He says that he may be facing jail time, and he says, quote, "I think it's going to be good for me," alcohol counseling, he said, it's going to be part of his plea. "I think it's going to be good for me, to be honest. I need to make sure drinking is not a problem for me. I just want some professionals to talk to me about it. If they tell me to stop drinking, then I'll have to stop drinking."
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they wouldn't.
Who wouldn't tell you that?
Yeah, Charles, you've gambled $30 million away and got arrested to get a 3 a.m. blowjob? Dude, stop drinking. I can tell you that. I'm not a psychologist, but
you walked away from hanging out with Jaleel White.
Yeah,
man.
what are you doing?
That guy's awesome.
That's great. Oh man,
I'd rather hang out with him than get a blowjob from a hooker.
from
I don't
some
know.
strange woman. Asked if he could do that, he said, "I feel I can do anything that I put my mind to." And so, he said that he would start using a driver when he goes out in public and would not get behind the wheel after drinking. He said, "I let so many people down. It just stinks watching the shows and not being there. I really screwed this up." In court, the judge says he pleads guilty.
Yeah.
Judge says, "You, sir, may fuck off 10 days in Tent City."
Right.
So 5 suspended, though.
He only got 5 suspended. They
5
usually suspend 9 of them.
Then he made a deal to go to alcohol rehab to suspend 2 more days, so he gets 3 days.
He spends 3 days in Tent City?
3 days, yeah.
No.
And the funny part is about this, this is where I will laugh at Charles Barkley. This is the guy who fucking praise of Joe Arpaio from Charles Barkley was on the cover of Joe Arpaio's book in 1996.
Unbelievable.
So now you get to stay at the tents that are ridiculously not fucking fit for humans.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he said that Arpaio says he chose to put him there because he didn't want to be accused of offering special privileges for celebrities. He says, "I'm taking a lot of heat for putting illegal immigrants in the tents. How am I going to discriminate and not put high-profile people in the tents? How about you don't put anybody in a fucking tent, you asshole?
Put them inside.
God damn it. When are you going to fucking die and blow away in the dust already,
It's
you old fart?
119 outside.
Jesus
You've got
Christ.
people that got 0.08
Yeah.
DUI.
Get out of here with that shit.
Fucking jerk.
2010, he tweets something that is very much one of those tweets that don't age well. And it is, quote, "Bill Cosby, can it? Is it really you? What an honor to be in your presence." Kneels in front of Bill Cosby.
Oh my God! Don't do that.
You don't want to put kneels and Bill Cosby. That's February 19th, 2010. I found that tweet and I'm like, that's hilarious. I got to have that in the show, even though it's not really part
Bill
of it.
Cosby, another guy who appreciates a blowjob.
Speaking of appreciating blowjobs, 2011,
Jesus
Chuck gets a new sponsor, Weight Watchers.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He said, quote, things have gotten out of hand. I was always joked and complained about my home state of complained about in my home state of Alabama of being fat. Well, I forgot I was fat. He said, I don't think it's realistic to get back to my playing weight of 250 pounds, which wasn't realistic either. He says that I just need to get healthier and hopefully others get healthier. That's my real goal, not be such a fat fuck. November 2012, he announced that he was contemplating retirement from broadcasting.
Oh?
He wasn't sure. Yeah, he said, quote, now I'm like, dude, you've been doing this for 13 years, and if I make it to the end of the contract, it'll be 17 years. 17 years is a long time. It's a lifetime in broadcasting. I personally have to figure out the next challenge for me. Then, after he said he planned to retire, he ended up signing another contract.
Yeah.
And now he says he wants to retire in 2023 when he's 60.
He'll be 60,
He'll be 60.
What do you want to bet he gets into politics? I'll bet he does.
Probably, yeah. He's been wanting to do that forever. He's so bored, so bored watching basketball for millions of dollars and talking about it. Isn't that boring with other players that you know? Yeah. What a tough life, Charles. I mean, I feel bad for Charles Barkley. I really do. But not nearly as bad as I feel for Charles Barkley, attorney at Charles Barkley and Associates in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hilarious.
Charles Barkley, Chief Operations Officer at Endeavor Enterprises in Lubbock, Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. Charles Barkley, Realtor. Charles Barkley selling houses now? Right. Imagine you saw that sign. Well, you could see that sign. Realtor at Berkshire Hathaway in Arizona, Phoenix.
No kidding.
He works here. So, yeah.
Selling the big houses with Berkshire.
Yeah, selling. Yeah. So go to Scottsdale. You'll see Charles Barkley sells houses. Charles Barkley, 14 years leading exceptional teams, comprehensive finance systems, and data insight in the greater Salt Lake City area.
How many people go to fucking meet that guy and they're like, not you. I thought you meant teams.
The saddest one. Charles Barkley, CISO at Walmart.
Poor bastard.
In New York City. A couple more, fuck it. Charles Barkley, Associate Director of Enrollment Management Recruiting at University of Chicago. And finally, my personal favorite, Charles Barkley Jr.
Oh, shit.
GIS Supervisor at City of Mesa. Mesa, Arizona. Charles, want to see him?
Yeah.
There he is.
Not him at all.
No, it's an old white guy with John Lennon glasses. It's pretty fucking funny. So, January 2017, he talked shit about LeBron James.
Really?
LeBron James.
Yeah, this is his favorite thing.
He said, quote, inappropriate, whiny, all of the above. The Cleveland Cavaliers have given him everything he wanted. They have the highest payroll in NBA history. He wanted J.R. Smith last summer. They paid him. He wanted Shumpert last summer. They brought in Kyle Korver. He's the best player in the world. Does he want all the good players? He doesn't want to compete. He's an amazing player. They're the defending champs. So then LeBron says, quote, I'm not going to let him disrespect my legacy like that. I'm not the one who threw somebody through a window. I never spat on a kid. I never had an unpaid debt in Vegas. I never say I'm not a role model. I never showed up to All-Star Weekend on Sunday because I was in Vegas all weekend partying. All I've done for my entire career is represent the NBA in the right way. 14 years, never got into trouble, respected the game, print that shit.
Also, I'm a billionaire.
Yeah.
I'm going to make what Charles made in his career tonight.
Yeah, right now. Then he says, LeBron, I collect one paycheck from this. There's the owner, David Griffin, the GM, I'm the player. Screw Charles Barkley. I'm tired of biting my tongue. There's a new sheriff in town. He was tired.
Yeah.
February 2017, Chuckster has gone back on his gambling edict here as he is in a high-stakes blackjack game in Mandalay Bay, TMZ reports. He's got a giant stack of chips in front of him. A casino employee said the chocolate chips that he had were $5,000 each, and the yellow ones were $1,000. He appears to have about 129,000 chips in front of him, and they were told that Barkley was playing $30,000 hands. Imagine the panic that would go through your body if you had 30. Oh God! No.
As they flip another card.
God.
What the fuck is it? I can't look.
I can't play. Too stressed. 2018, he says that he invested more than $4 million over the past decade in companies controlled by his friend, Alabama lawyer Donald V. Watkins Sr., but never got a dime back. He made the statements during a deposition as part of the U.S. Security Exchange Commission's 2016 civil lawsuit that claims Watkins defrauded investors. Barkley said that he invested in these companies because he trusted the guy. He said, quote, "But the bottom line is I haven't gotten a dime back and we are proceeding. This thing has been a shock to my system, and to be honest with you, I consider that Donald has always been a friend to me, and this whole situation is really unfortunate because I've lost a lot of money." Watkins ends up being sentenced, you, sir, may fuck off, 5 years in prison.
Oh, boy.
He got, goddamn, should have threw somebody through a window.
Does he get money back?
I don't know if he got his money back, but that guy got 5 years. For Charles, he's probably happier with that.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Right.
August of 2019, I found, this is just cheap, but I found it, so I'm putting it in. He had an expired meter in Pennsylvania, literally an expired meter in Pennsylvania.
Probably in Philly.
Maybe, yeah. March 19th, 2020, a man is arrested wearing Charles Barkley sneakers. Okay?
And when?
This year, March of 2020, Amar Ellis was arrested after he walked into the Jackson Street Annex, which was a police station, for questioning by Wildwood police. He was wearing the stolen shoes, which he was there to be questioned for when he went to be questioned for them.
Still no shoes.
Yep, the cop said, quote, "It should be noted that the type of shoes have not been made for several years and were given to the victim by his father several years prior, and the victim kept them in pristine condition." Ellis claimed he bought them on the street for $10, but he's arrested, charged with burglary.
Oh, man. He's out wearing them?
Out wearing them.
This poor kid has collected them for
with a
20
toothbrush.
years.
Yeah. May 23rd, 2020, Charles is pulled over for failure to stop at a red light in Scottsdale.
Again?
So, failure to stop at a red light in Scottsdale. So he's got that going on. And that brings us up to date with the Chuckster. Can't get enough. Fucking watch TV. He's on TV like every night of the week.
Arguing with Shaq.
Arguing with people. And he's got tons of jerseys and figures and everything's on eBay. Plenty of Chuckster out there. You can watch. Go to YouTube. Pull up Charles Barkley highlights. You can watch old games.
He was unbelievable.
That is Charles Barkley, everybody. One of our heavy hitters there that he didn't do anything crazy, but he was crazy and fun. Been waiting on that one a long fucking time.
He's a party.
He's a party. So Charles Barkley, hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, there is a way to tell us about that. Go to Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. It helps so much. We have no fucking idea why, but it helps a lot. So please do that. Also, you can head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Not only can you should head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related. New merchandise up right now and all the time, and as well as listen to Small Town Murder. Do it. Do it. Go right now and do it. God damn it. I'm going to throw you through a plate glass fucking window. So, do all of that. Check everything out. The merch is up there. If you want to follow the show, very easy to do that. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. And, if you want to be a producer of the show, our personal heroes and role models and heroes, both, honestly, you can do that very easily, and you're going to get lots of stuff for it. This week, our bonus episode is going to be more information on Randall Woodfield, the I-5 killer. What was he like before the murders and during the murders? Really, really interesting stuff I found. What
a terrible human being.
It's a terrible story, and the way he was personally was so fucking different than how it was so weird. He's very much different than most of these serial killers we've come across in his personality. Yeah, really concerned, fastidious and shit like that.
Really?
It's a really weird thing. We'll get into it though. Patreon.com/crimeinsports, and anybody over the $5 level is going to get access to that and all the great bonus material, including all of Small Town Murder's bonus material, which is not always Small Town Murder. Sometimes you get the prisoner dating game, stuff like that. Stuff you'll like. Don't worry. It's all available for you right there. And and also Jimmie's going to mispronounce your name.
Oh yeah.
He's going to fuck it up bad.
Absolutely.
And then if you just want to be a producer and have your name mispronounced and have good karma, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. Again, Jimmie will butcher your name just the same.
Shit, yeah.
Speaking of that, Jimmie, please, I need to know the list of people who would never try to drive to my house at 3 o'clock in the morning for a blowjob. Please, Jimmie, hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Adam Sorber, Jordan Bennett, Amanda McPherson, Matthew Reed, Stacey Stevenson, Chris Nelson, Emily Roberts, Melissa Turner. Happy birthday also.
Hey.
Preston Letterman, Larry. It's Terry from Portland. Do you remember Terry?
Oh, I know Terry.
Terry.
I know Terry. Terry's a good dude.
Miss you, Terry.
What's up, Terry?
Vanessa Castillo, Christina Hayden, Rio with no last name, Zach Buffalo, Tim Root, and John Bechanina.
Hey,
other producers.
Jimmy's going to screw that up.
Other producers this week are Thomas Smith, Luane Al-Sheikh, Janet Zaleska, John Woodward, Teresa Harris, Reagan Shulkley, Amanda Knight, Jay Burks, Karen Parker, Susan Lackey-Wellman, Jamie with no last name, Peyton Meadows, Brian Killian, Ellie Zotz, I think, and happy birthday, Brett Killian, that's his brother. Brian
birthday.
Kinney also, Darren Pollock, Holly Harward. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll never get through that one easy. Catherine Collado, Jason Toby, Michelle Malone Nickerson, Amy Clark, Jennifer Crumpet, Crump Lee, whatever. James Martyr, Jesse Taman, Colin Mulligan, Jamie Harder, that's Sarah Crawford, Wendy Madden Mulligan, Hawk Glandford, Hauke, I don't know. Rabbi, that's a rabbi, Shmololovich, I don't know why he makes me say that every week. Courtney Jaquay, I think, Lauren McCann, Madison with no last name, Jen Whalen, Mark Wismer, he donated both ways. Thanks,
you.
Mark. Lauren Caton, Villa Cutinen. I'll never get it. Ville, I don't know how to pronounce that. Whatever. Mandy Hagen, Corey.
Pronounce.
Corey Kitzmiller, Maddie West, Jessica Ruker, Barbara Howells, Jacqueline Woods, Cardiac with no last name, Josephine Kramer, Jen Murphy, Wyvern Workshop, Chelsea Morgan's friend Amanda. It's her birthday. Happy birthday. She got her into the show, so she gives a shit. Matt Inman, Clark Emery, Joseph, what is this? Sonia Lee Pointer, I think. Valerie Walsh, Melina Kuhn, Morgan Eberly. What is this? Donald Ward. I write terribly, and
That's
write
a simple name.
Yeah,
too.
But I put the two words together, so it looks like Donald Word.
Donald Word. We'll go that way. Donald Word.
Mike and Kimberly
Toward
Billingsley. Michelle Beatty, Malia Milne, Dan Daly, Kathy Jackson, Blair Hopwood. I'm a terrible. Janice Hill, Dora Rodis, WB, Jamel Thomas, Sergio Rutmeyer, Jill Vita, Miami Dog Whisperer. He's from Miami, so he speaks to them in Miami, whatever.
Low tone.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nicely. Joe Slacker Gentry, Luke Allison, Martine Sesma, Marilyn Mitchell, Deborah Kim, Bailey Elizabeth Holland, Aaron Marsalis, Posey, that's the last name. Chris Lyle, James and Jimmy fan fiction. Isn't that like dirty? I don't know what that means. I hope it's not dirty.
I hope it's not
just
fan. Yeah, it's just maybe we're like saving the world or something.
Jessica Curtis Montgomery Mayo Jr., Amber Coburn, Cranky with no last name, Rosalba Avalos, Jen Greichner, Mike Shanahan, probably not.
I'm sure it is.
Julia Haley, Sarah Surridge, Keegan Caston, Feminarcotic, Mouse with no last name, Brian Butcher, Brendan Abels, Jude Kendall, Natasha with no last name, Michael Abbott, Daniel with no last name, Sherry Drescher, Ashley Vio, Matthew. Nope, that's Marcia. What is that? Oh boy, I have terrible writing, man. Ashley Rain DiGiovanna, Catherine Claus. I think that's Santa's wife. Eric Lewis, Kevin. What did I do? Kivas Rosner. Mark Gutierrez, Alan Vio, Marie J. Preston, Kay Whopper or Quapper. I don't know if that's a
Quapper.
Yeah. Tessa Hughes, Candace Buchan, Richard McCutcheon, Michael Berholst. Fuck. Kimberly Smith, Shelby Montana, what is this? Kelly Moore, Candace Johnson, Barb Esposito, Rachel Pietkowski, Deborah Townsend, Brian with no last name, Michelle Gay, Eric Downing, Devin Bronger, Sky with no last name, Emily with no last name, A, just the letter.
All right.
I don't know what it stands for. Dulcie Hall, Clifton Cunningham, Haley Dozier, Kendall Mack, Kyle Whitney, Caitlin Newkirk, John Melberg, Hunter Thompson, Jenna Crode.
Sure.
Happy birthday. Yeah, probably not with an S. Probably Hunter F. Thompson.
Yeah.
Right. Jenna Crode's birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy
Thomas
birthday.
Crows, Julie Slawa. I gotta get better at this. Faye with no last name. Amber Farley, Madison Socha, Bobby Joe Chambly, Amy Pierce, Trevor Henson, Stephen Fan, Steve Dave McGregor. That's his first name. Steve Dave. Rebecca Kelp, Elizabeth Hawkins, Matthew Bezashore, Jessica McCullough, Erica Boudrialt, Amanda Hansen, Hannah Ledvina, Eric Barnes, Jessica Stevens, Leonard Patino, Stephen Bennis, Story with no last name, Hannah Burchell, John, what is this, Gerd, Trudy, okay, this is getting bad, Trudy Jones, I think, Patrick Everston, Crystal Salas, Emma with no last name, Melissa Rust, Allison Bennett, Laura McCabe, Raquel Escobedo, Emily Drenta, Lauren with no last name, Megan and Jay Cherharsky, Julie Duncan, Emily Merlino, Laura Stankunis, Zachary Hernandez, Nick with no last name, Taylor Apts, Jody McCall, Nikki Minicone, Carolyn Phillips, God damn it, Michael Hinchley, Renee with no last name, Maricela with no last name, Brian Lorette, Angie Adams, Serena Hammond, Condor, Federico, Nick Curtis, Imogen, Cassidy with no last name, Luke Rogers, Jacob Shaw, Gary McMichael, Aaron Thib, Tyler Catloric, Blake Moore, Le'Veon Bell, probably not, Kyle Davidi, Danielle Stuhlberg, Jeffrey Goen, Noreen Galindo.
He's down at the bottom of the page, everybody. He really writes small and struggles on these.
I can't. So the bottom of the page is a real pain in the ass because then my knuckles on the table.
Oh, I get it.
And the penmanship gets worse.
Are you trying to save paper? Skip 2 lines. Go to the next page.
Noreen Galindo, Susanna Lee, Jessica Hayden, Chantel Graham, Chase Veta.
Thank you, everyone, for donating so Jimmy can get more paper. Sorry.
Chase Webelhart. See, and then the hard names are at the bottom of the page, too. I don't know what the fuck. What am I doing? Top of the page here, and I still can't read it. Robin Riddle Barger, Tyler Burgett, Sarah Visk, Wesley Adams, Carla Broman, Megan Manning, Sierra Anseview. How do you have EEUW? That doesn't make any sense. JWF 968, Robert Johnson, Colleen Ferris, Katie Jeffs, probably Warren's daughter.
Yeah.
Aaron Heidebrecht, Aaron J., Emily Beckman, Adam Borsma, Nicolette Caravella, John Cameron, Aline Reed, Kimberly DiMartino, Shanna's friend Nicole. Oh, Shanann's friend Nicole from
okay.
Somebody broke the news to me that she has breast cancer, which makes it worse. It's hard to say she overreacted.
No, I get it. That
Tina
sucks.
Crowley, Melissa Rafe Theodore, Tessa Douglas, Tamara with no last name, Magoo 365, which is basically me, Alex with no last name, Brian Fawcett, Kyle Beretta, Jennifer Beatles. Tessa Douglas, Jacob King, Justine Zawalt, Whitney Flasca, Bree Romero, Mandy with no last name, Joanna Simley, Matt Robinson, Candace Wallace, Marley with no last name, Emily Murray, Mary Kramer, Hammer, like Hammer Time.
Hey,
Robin Davison, what I do here, Rachel Barders, Anna with no last name, Jacob Hartwell, Lindsay Reed, Robin Kale, Beth Lemon, Lindsay, nope, that's Lisa, Chamberlain, I don't know. Jessica with no last name. Brandon Kroom. Loud Jeff instead of silent one. Lindsay. Nope, that's Whitney. Leonard. Amy Nickel. Andrew Jones. Heather Westerfield. Matthew McGeary. Travis with no last name. Kiri Cantil. Mark with no last name. Jen DiCimio. It's Italian. What are you going to do?
He's going to mess it up.
Crystal Robinson, Christy Edwards, Zach Osei, Larea Roos. Her husband Levi had a birthday and I missed it. Happy birthday, Levi. Hang in there. It gets worse. Blake Lingman, Patrick Stocklin, Madison Clark, Conrad Ziamski, David Farley, Vanessa Headington, Brooke Trevino, Samantha Smith, Justin Vogler, Michelle Harward, Jenna Phelps, Sean Stanley, Laura Safford, I think, Alana and Mike Bouts, Brianna Wynn, Candace Wallace, Dave Gray, Tyler Richards, Harry Butts, probably not, Tyler Richards, Dustin Bear, maybe, Brittany Conger, Andy Davis, Lily Morph, I think, Renee Lynn, Lori Bobskill, Kayla Riddell, Todd Zillinger. Okay. Daniel Lopez, Tiffany Bourne, Robert Nicholas, Aaron Grumbach, Lindsay Krauf, Erica Chavez, Brooke Robinson, Amanda Larson, home stretch. Last page, Megan Lindaker. I don't know. Kobe with no last name. Rachel, what is this? Rachel, but what? Raquel, maybe? Rut Carlsdoder? None of those are right. Cassie Sawyer, Evelyn, and what is this? Evelyn Zamora Granola? I don't know.
That's amazing.
I have terrible penmanship. Angelina Marconi, Alicia Ybarra, Preston Letterman, Megan with no last name, Michael Bailey, Andrew Meismer, Nadia Ashur, Robert Sherwatka, Megan with no last name, Ruga, what is this, Pungo? God damn it, I don't know if that's a P or an R. Caitlin and Josh
one or the other.
Doxy, Kennedy Seckman, Stephen Giovanna, Daner, Stephanie Fleming, Christopher Gales, Michelle Lopez, Becca Pitts, Sydney Rains Pratt, Dominic Brunson, Renee with no last name, Tega Bernstein, Logan Fisher, Tamsin Hunter, Michael Keenan, Matthew Moon, Terrence Clark, Sadie's Winsheimer, Max Price, Melissa Perrin, Haven Bell, C. Figler, Mike Loracock,
Mike Loricock.
James with no last name. Michelle Ryder. Axel Amadeus. That's the person's real name. That's
really?
fucking rad.
Wow.
Chantel with no last name. Nicole Sereda. Krista Gilson. Bob Menzel. Megan Saunders. Heather Nelson. Isabel Orozco. Kevin Luss, Tori Bernhardt, Joe Cordes, Katie Hanks, Joshua Perkins, Oilfield, Colorado Chris. It's fucked up. Myra with no last name. What is this? Bab Raver? What? Can't be right. Ian with no last name. Tay Hannah, Jillian Loslow, Desiree. No, that's Daisy Ray Hayes, Jenna Sarver, Kathia Alvarenga, Courtney Graham, Michelle Pittman, Vanessa Trujillo, Daniel Hare, Jessica Latz, Tanya Alboni. Oh boy. Kristen Downey, Z with no last name, Madison Hanson, Katie Roby, Amanda Mitchell, Nick Jubry, Amanda Mitchell, Nick Bell Matt Bach, I apologize, Julie Farga, Andrea Hartle, Mia with no last name, Dustin Henry, Kim Petherick, Jose Santiago, Shanna Ferguson, Amy Deans, and Cassie Sawyer. And if you guys think that's fucked up, if I print them out, it would be way worse because at least I've read them once. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for us.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for everything. Honestly, we appreciate you guys so much, everybody out there, and everything.
Can't be understated nor overstated.
No, we're coming up on 5 years on this show,
It's
and
unbelievable.
you guys have just done everything for us.
You floated
for 5
the boat.
years,
Thank you.
Thank you for everything like that. What if they wanted to thank you, Jimmie? How could they possibly
start? You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter and Instagram. Where are you?
I am at Jimmie P is funny, or you can just copy and paste my name and do it the smart way. There, do that, and you'll find me somewhere. I don't fucking know. That said, thank you for joining us. Hope you had as crazy a time as we did. That was just a fun holiday week. It's a light holiday party week. You know, do it that sort of thing. Everybody out there, stay safe and do all that shit. Please enjoy your holidays and have fun.
Yeah,
and,
don't get sick.
Don't get sick, please. Don't fucking do anything stupid. That said,
nobody likes their family. Don't go.
Yeah, just stay home.
Skip it.
You don't want to anyway.
No,
I don't want to.
Food's gross.
I'm thrilled that I don't have to go to Thanksgiving. This
Turkey
is
will be
great.
dry. Just skip it.
It sucks. Turkey sucks. You don't want turkey. You don't want it. It's better from Subway in a sandwich than it is from.
What if your mom makes a ham? You don't want to go get that.
No, that's gross. That said, everybody, live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.